Let's see, let's see. Is the chat working? Yep. We're starting today with the third route, that is then Sorfield. What actually happened, in the last story part there went a lot wrong again. We was with Cryos, and now we used the fatal rewind again to get in another timeline. But before this, before we start with the route, we will watch the opening and then starting with the route.
It's now time to reclaim my trueness from the memories of darkness. Even if endless grief consumes the entire world, I can feel my bruising heart. The only thing that seems to believe. Step into the fire and see it starts again. Sitting all by myself, my mind's running in circles, can't stop. I can see nothing but the richness, like a stream hopeless reaper. Just straight away on my fate, can't stand it anymore. Gonna get away. A ray of hope is rising up, baby, now. Something's gonna hold me back, but I will go on looking back, believing my faith. It's not time to come to my weakness, fight against any clueless. Even if the truth that you seem to consume my world, I can feel my beating heart. That's the one I can trust. Please don't break, please don't respect to be out of order. Get higher, higher.
Let's go, let's go. Yep.
僕は的にはなりませんからね。
So actually what happened, we went to Rune again and he put us in another timeline that we are now. He also gave us, I remember he also gave us back the memories that we had with Cyrus and Tyrell. So she has now the memories back again. What happened in the other timelines, which is actually nice. Also a bit sad, but actually also nice. Yeah, let's see what is happening.
なんですか黙り込んで。まさか本気で僕を的にする気だったんですか？
おーい、もう20時だぞ。そろそろ片付けようぜ。ん？どうかしたのか？
さあ、さっきまでは普通だったんですけど、急に喋らなくなっちゃって。
マジか。さては訓練のしすぎで頭がおかしくなったか？
あ、アナスタシア。副団長がお前に届けてほしいものがあるって。
それどころじゃありませんよヒューゴさん。なんだか変なんです、アナスタシアさんが。
Yeah. It's okay. I'm fine. I'm fine.
疲れが出てるんだろ。いくら武術大会が近いからって毎日無理しすぎてるんだ。
Okay, let's go through everything in order. It's just before the war games. I had been focusing on my training because winning means promotion to knighthood. In the midst of that, the Grand Commander introduced me to his friend. I guess I'm back at that night then. I was hoping to go back a bit further, but at least I just managed to make it.
副団長から頼まれ事があったんだけど。
A package of meat he wants me to deliver to the tavern.
え？ああ、そうだよ。なんだ、もう副団長から聞いてたんだな。
I take the meat from Hugo. The wings are such a calming presence in my life. Thanks to them, I've gotten so much stronger. I must protect them. I refuse to allow a repeat of those tragedies.
今度は七に赴くような顔つきに。行くの酒場ですよね。
心配だから途中まで一緒に行くよ。最近何かと物騒だし。
Violent stuff? Like what?
ちょっと前に起きた強盗殺人。まだ犯人が捕まってないんだってさ。
Oh, I do remember hearing about this before. Something about how the culprit was surprisingly slippery. They all accompany me until we get close to the tavern, and nothing of note happens before I get there. It took me much longer to get here this time around. If I remember rightly, I run into that drunkard the moment I entered the tavern. A man approaches me with an unsteady motion, but I manage to avoid bumping into him. Alright, now I won't have to deal with his complaints.
おい！危ねえな、よけんじゃねえよ。こういう時は手を貸してくれるのが親切ってもんだろうが。女のくせに気が利かねえな。
I'm apparently fated to argue with the man. How ridiculous.
おい、そこな。いい加減にしてくれ。この店で乱闘騒ぎを起こしたやつはできんだからな。仕方ねえな。表出ろ。
Last time I got out of this with an apology, but that won't work this time. I need to prevent Zenn from running away this time. And I know just trick for that. Master Tyrell.
なんだ？イタチもか？
せっかく人の金でいい酒飲んでたのに。そんなにギャーギャーわめきたいならもっといい場所連れてってやるよ。無知にギロチン、懲罰椅子、アイアンメイデン。拷問器具は山ほどある上、完全防音だ。
Tyrell. Okay, I go with you, Tyrell. I would like to do.
すみませんでした。
で、お前は何なんだ？なんで俺の名前を？
Yeah, she remembers now everything that she had with him and that she had with Crivers, and Boss died in the timeline before, which is so sad. But now they are back again, which is nice.
なんだ？
Oh, look at him. It's so cute. Master Tyrell.
なんなんだよお前は。いきなりしがみついてくるわ、泣き出すわ。これじゃ俺が何かしでかしたみたいに。
ティレル。俺の部下を泣かせるなんて一体何をやった？
こいつお前の部下なのか？今日俺に引き合わせたいっていう。
アナスタシア、
俺が席を外している間に何があった？お前が泣くなんて、よほどのことがあったんだろ
Grand Commander.
う。団長って。
It's actually a bit sad because these two don't remember anything what happened in the timeline, because this is a new timeline, so they don't remember how it was in their timelines, which is sad, but yeah, the reaction. Grand Commander.
団長ね。いつの間に出世したんだ？クライオス、何固まってやがる？
いや。アナスタシア、本当にどうしたんだ？
They're probably thinking that main character is crazy. I apologize. I had an awful dream.
夢だ？ガキかよ。そんなくだらないことで。
そうか。よほど怖い夢だったんだな。落ち着くまで胸を貸すから、無理するな。
気色悪。
There he is.
ん？やっと来たか。遅いぞ、ゼン。
またやったんだな。
Oh yeah, he said us before we shouldn't fatal rewind, so go back in another timeline or other time. I knew it. He keeps his memories even after I use my fatal rewind to turn back time.
おい、どこ行くんだよ。
Hello Mirai, how are you today? And how was the dokumi? I was watching your videos on YouTube when I had time.
用事を思い出した。
They were actually pretty cute.
は？
No, I can't let him leave. I had hoped that bringing the Grand Commander and Master Tyrell into this would keep Zenn from leaving, but unfortunately it doesn't look to be that easy. Good, and you, Dokuma was cool, and but also it's very hot at the moment for me in my apartment, which is like not so nice. I don't like summer so much. I'm more the winter type because I'm a snow ghost fox, you know. And hey, Marple, how are you? With the same emote. Yeah, but I'm fine. I was actually thinking to make a sub goal, right? And if the sub goal is like reached, then I would cosplay Kuya from New Carnival and show, yeah. But I don't know about this. But if I would make a cosplay, I was thinking about this, I would cosplay Kuya from New Carnival.
ゼン。
My cosplay too warm for the. Oh yeah, that's shitty. Wait, what? All it takes is a Grand Commander calling his name, so he doesn't appear to be Zenn's master. Zenn apparently cannot ignore a request from him. No, what is happening? Oh, yeah. Interesting, guys. That's how it goes, you know. I had this actually when I had this. I don't remember, but I had it actually like a few times also. It happens once on Fire Emblem Warriors to me and was yeah, I don't know. I had this with even Tempest like yeah, a lot of times. Oh. I didn't even save, which is not good. But I can skip.
僕は的にはなりませんからね。
Shit, I skipped too much. Yeah, it doesn't matter, I guess. We will be fine at this part. I don't like the fact that Zenn is smoking, to be honest.
そもそもティレル様ってなんだよ。んな呼び方部下しかしないぞ。
ティレル、そんな質問するような言い方はよせ。怖がってしまうだろう。
So, you probably saw some parts of the game, Mirai, from even Tempest. What is your favorite from the characters? From the love interests? No, it's fine. I'm actually quite happy. It's just like him to jump into interrogator mode.
嬉しい。
大丈夫かクライオス。お前の部下頭おかしいぞ。
アナスタシア、訓練のしすぎだろうな。明日は出勤しなくていいからゆっくり休め。
Yeah, they're probably thinking that MC is like, yeah, brain damaged or something now. Because we remember everything that we had with Tyrell and Cryos in our timelines before, and they don't remember. Whoops, now they're worrying about me. I need to be more careful with my behavior. What, really? Okay. Okay. From the look, or you like his voice actor?
それでだな、ティレル、ゼン。今日お前たちを呼び出したのは、この子を紹介するためだったんだ。この子はいろいろと訳ありでな。力になってやってほしい。
Sayu also speaks Balin in Genshin Impact, I think, which is like hilarious. I mean, Zenn's Sayu.
断る。子守やるほど暇じゃないんだよ。
アナスタシア、頼んでいたものは持ってきてくれたか？
Yes, sir.
さあ、ティレル、受け取ってくれ。
これはアルカナ20。
ティレル、もしこれからこいつが頼み事をしてきたら聞いてやってくれないか？もちろん無償でとは言わない。ただ俺と同じ条件で取引してやってほしいというだけだ。
No changes here. Vice Commander Cryos and Master Tyrell are having the exact same conversation. The only difference is the presence of another guest. Yep.
善も頼むよ。無償とは言わない。ただ他の顧客よりサービスしてくれればいいから。
ずうずうしいやつだな。善、嫌なら嫌って言えよ。恩義とか言ってる場合じゃないからな。
Tyrion sounds so cute when he is drunk. Oh. Debt of gratitude. Is that between Zenn and the Vice Commander? Zenn did immediately listen to the Vice Commander earlier, and all he did was say his name. I should use this chance wisely and try to find out more about Zenn. Ask about the deep of gratitude. A deep of gratitude, what happened?
大したことじゃない。ただ探偵業を始めるときにちょっと手を貸しただけさ。
よく言う。善が従順なのをいいことにこき使ってるくせに。
ちゃんと報酬は払ってるよ。な、善。
He's not talking at all. He's like the silent type. Staying there or sitting there and smoking.
今日はいつも以上に無口だな。機嫌が悪いのか？
別に。
I can't even imagine what they normally talk about. I don't think you could find 3 more different people.
こいつら共通点なさそうなのになんでつるんでるんだって顔だな。
Inquisitor Lister is more terrifying than any witch.
なんでって言ってもな。気が合うからとしか言いようがないが。
共通点ならあるだろう、一応。お前らいつもあの話ばっかしてるじゃないか。
まあ確かにそうだな。
Which thing exactly?
俺と善は実は料理が趣味なんだよ。
What?
クライオスに習っているだけだ。趣味というほどのことじゃない。
Incredible, sir. I was of course aware of your skills with the blade, but I didn't realize that extended to the kitchen.
いやいや、レシピ通りにしか作れないんだよ。味音痴だからアレンジが効かないんだ。
Do you cook as well, Master Tyrell? Hello, Kaiser. How are you?
俺は食う専門。
I'm an eater, not a cooker. Oh.
作らないくせに一番味にうるさいんだよな、ティレルは。そういえばゼン、パンを作ってみたいと言ってたよな。わかりやすい料理本を手に入れたから今度挑戦してみるか。
ああ。
I imagine the 2 of them floor stains on their aprons as they need to. It's a surprisingly calming image. Hey, Ain't, how are you? And did you literally crop the head out from that? Yeah! Hey, don't complain about the art. It's an amazing art, actually. Now we get this again. Wait, try actually Mireille. Try to shout out Mireille, Kaiser. Wait, why not? Yay, Pokemon, let's go! Holy shit, my ears! Why is this so loud for me? That was an interesting clip. What? I can see how close they are. Even the vice commander looks more relaxed than usual. So why did this guy try to stop me from using the Fatal Rewind after the vice commander died? If they are friends, wouldn't he want to save him?
ティレレ様、ご歓談中申し訳ございません。急ぎご報告したいことが。
Oh yeah, it sometimes shows like up very old stuff. So yeah. Tyr pulls away from the table to hear Inquisitor Tolles' report. Thankfully, that seems to be all it is. And once he's finished, the other Inquisitor leaves the tavern.
仕事か？
北区で起きた強盗殺人解決したんだと。
ああ、あれか。確か証拠も何も見つからなくて魔女が絡んでるんじゃないかって話だったよな。実際はどうだったんだ？
人間様の所業だよ。経理隊のやつら難事件になると大体魔女の仕業ってことにして俺たちに押し付けてくるんだよな。今回もそうなりかけたんだが、2時間前にとある一般市民が犯人を捕らえたそうだ。俺が知っているのはここまでだ。続きはお前から聞こうか、ゼン。
ゼンが捕まえたのか？
らしいぜ。で、どうやって犯人を突き止めたんだ？
探偵の勘だ。ちょっと詰めたらすぐに吐いた。
This proves it. Zenn Sorfield retains his memories even after a fatal rewind. In the previous timeline, the incidents in the northern quarter took 3 lives. This time, so the culprit was captured before even the second life was taken. Zenn completely changed the outcome. Given his unnatural resistance to meeting my gaze, Zenn has likely realized that I've picked up on his secret.
偶然だろうがなんだろうが手柄には違いないな。試験前に箔がついてよかったじゃないか。
Exam.
ゼンは行政官の登用試験を受けるんだ。ああ、もう終わったんだな。
先週な。今は結果待ちだ。
行政官になったら赤毛の世話を焼くどころじゃないだろう。受かりっこないと決めつけてるのか？
まさか。確かに平民であるゼンが城内勤務の職に就くのは相当困難だが、ゼンの資質の高さは俺が一番知っている。合格。
When I meet Zenn in the castle, it was as a son of a viscount. I admit to not recognizing the name Sorfield. There are so many viscounts, it didn't bother me. Did he falsify his social standing? Or is this Karen's story the lie? There are too many mysteries surrounding this man.
城に勤務する行政官のつては欲しかったんじゃないか、アナスタシア。
Nothing remains hidden from you for long.
あれだけ途上にこだわっているのを見たらな。ゼンはいいやつだよ。少々言葉が足りない時もあるが、どこかの誰かのようにうるさくなくていい。
まあ実直なところは信用できるな。悪巧みばかりするどこぞの騎士より。
なあ、ゼン、引き受けてくれるか？
Wow.
わかった。
Then real country agrees, and I clench my fists below the table. So we're spying on people now. Correct term, stalking. Yeah. Oh. Hello, Blanc. Welcome. Thank you for the raid. I hope you're fine. I hope you're good. I think you stream Genshin? Maybe, maybe not.
What? Really don't have poop. Cool. Not really.
I love the city. SDD.
Right, that is in VR chat, right? Or sometimes I really wish I had like this VR glasses to try it out sometime also, but they are so expensive. Thank you for the follow. Wait, he died. Why did you kill him? Who is this now? I'm so confused. They're all popping up like crazy. Are you this Marple? No, that's Blank, right? Who is... Oh yeah, I see. It's an old model. Now. Oh. Nice singing there.
Okay. I think I forgot something. Oh, hey! Wait, this one's a little. I wanna hide the truth. I wanna shelter you.
Who you wanna shelter? You know who else sings well? Oh, no, don't do this. I have a bad feeling about this. I have clips. Apparently you all have clips. All. At the end, it ends like a shout-out stream now. We went from like stalking in an Otoma game to shout-out with Otoma boys in the background. I'm scared to see what I got. No. Holy shit, that goes so fast. Kaiser. I don't know. Nice ass. But I think Kokolia has a good body, right? That ass. It's actually so hilarious if I think about this. Okay, did we miss someone to shout out? I think we missed Lieutenant TK. One. Right? Or did we get him? Okay. Let's see what is happening here after all the shoutouts. Unless Lieutenant has also a shoutout. I did get... Oh, okay. Feels bad, man. But just to make sure another one. Ah, it was Elden Ring. Okay. Now you get another one. This is... What even is this? What is... This looks old, right? It's an old video, probably. Wow. Okay. Guys, let's continue to stalk the guy with the white hair. His name is Zenn. I have to pat myself on the back or calling out to Master Tyrell when that drunkard showed up. As a result, I finally have Zenn in my grasp. It's a choice I was only able to make because I know what kind of person he is now. Despite his cold, standoffish persona, I know he's incredibly kind deep down. My memories aren't all bad. I'm able to take advantage of that knowledge to help me. Master Tyrell, Mr. Sorfield, I'm terribly grateful for your help and would like to take advantage of this opportunity. I'd like to speak with you alone, Mr. Sorfield. Do you mind?
それはダメだな。
Okay. Why not?
今何時だと思ってる？会うなら昼間にしなさい。
狐耳ですか？
Thank you for the follow, yeah. Then do it in the middle of the day. But
明日は休みにしてやるから、昼に会え、昼に。善もいいだろ。
ああ。
お前、意外と過保護なんだな。
actually so true.
善、なんか顔色悪くないか？
ちょっと疲れてるだけだ。要件済んだならもう帰るぞ。
If you guys play Genshin, then Sorfield also speaks Dvalin. So the voice actor that speaks Zenn Sorfield also speaks Dvalin in Genshin Impact, which is a bit hilarious.
ああ、気をつけてな。
And he's gone. Nervous that letting him go now means letting him go for good. I grab at his clothes. And when I do, a strange sense flashes through my mind. That looks like human world.
安心しろ。もう逃げはしない。
Okay. What did I just see? If it wasn't an illusion, then it was some other power I've unknowingly gained. Either way, I won't get my answers by pondering the issue. So long as I can talk with Zenn tomorrow, I'll be able to do something about this current situation. Until then, let's do everything I can. Good morning, sir.
アナスタシア、どうした？今日は休んでいいと言っただろう。
I won't be meeting Mr. Sorfield until the afternoon. I wanted to talk with you before then about Huma.
フマ？団長のガルダのことか。
Yes, I've heard whispers around the wings about her loss of appetite.
ああ、そうなんだ。いろいろと原因を探っているところだ。
Could you look into the possibility of her being pregnant?
妊娠？しかしそれは。いや、何事も確かめてみるべきか。わかったよ。
Thank you. With this, Huma should be safe and the Vice Commander's illness will be taken care of. I wouldn't need to do this if I were to simply accept my promotion to knighthood and become Huma's caretaker, but at this point I'm not sure if I should accept. If I become a knight, I won't be able to stick close to Master Tyrell and find a way to free him from Conrad's grasp. That being said, I doubt I can solve this problem simply by becoming an Inquisitor again. Having experienced it myself now, I see just how much discrimination Inquisitors receive and how limited they are in their actions. Knights, meanwhile, can freely enter the castle. Still, Inquisitors have far more involvement in witch trials, making them the more obviously useful choice. The witch, too, has his memories of the previous timelines. That would explain why the Membra and Sacrificer were different each time. If I'm to triumph against the royal family and the witch, which path should I choose? Do I become an Inquisitor or a Knight? Kaiser! Zenn, new name, shall be Flying Lizard. Aw. As my thoughts threaten to wander down a labyrinth, I shake my head. I don't need to make my decision right this moment. I can wait until I talk with Zenn. He retains his memories no matter how many times I return to the past. He clearly has a connection with the witch. I believe that so long as I can properly talk with him, I can get the answers I seek. Zenn proposed we meet at my place. I'm surprised someone as seemingly courteous as him offered to meet in my territory. 1 hour until he shows up. Whoops. I've completely forgotten to eat today. Since Maya has the day off today, I've been negligent with my food habits. I have the ingredients here, but I can barely cook a simple meal. I guess I should just go buy something from a nearby store. I bought way too much. I bought enough for 3 people. My arms hurt from the weight. This always happens the few times I go shopping. I don't know how much is enough and wind up with too much. I could save some for dinner, but Maya isn't fond of pre-made meals. I hope Zen will eat some. Wait. What am I going on about? He could be the enemy. Things aren't going to go so smoothly. I'll just have to eat everything Yeah. Welcome, creepy clown again. Yeah, in the last timelines, he killed us all the time. I hate clowns, by the way. They are so scary. Why? The embodiment of calmly appears before me without even a hint of a preamble. Fear blows through my like a storm, destroying any semblance of courage. I can't win against this thing, nor can I run. Defeat etches itself into my very veins. Until at least a single man steps before me. And this how you also do voiceover for the Japanese dub of Frozen. Oh, really? That's actually funny too.
何ぼそっとしてやがる。また死ぬ気か。
Are you here to save me? I don't know what you think this thing is, but it's a monster.
うるせえ。人のこと構ってねえで。さっさと行けよ。
Then forcefully shoves me forward and give into the momentum and continue running. Then got away to right. He's okay, isn't he? Surely he didn't die to protect me, right? Then, an hour later. You're okay, thank goodness. Thank you for saving me. I'd be dead now if you hadn't come when you did.
礼なんかいらねえよ。また死に戻りされちまったらめんどくせえと思っただけだ。まさか俺のこと味方だとか思ってるんじゃねえだろうな。
He regards me with animosity and suspicion, and I wave away the hopes I'd started to harbor.
メイドはいないのか。いつも一緒だろう。
I had Maya leave, so how much do you know about me?
リンゼル公爵の長子。3歳の時に生みの母を病で亡くし、5歳としてやってきたママ母に虐げられて育つ。10歳で出奔。ガルダ翼騎士団の門を叩く。副団長クライオスの下で訓練に励み、武術大会で優勝するが、その直後にクライオスがサクリファイスになり、窮地に陥る。お前は異端審問官となってクライオスらを助けるが、イク族虐殺の一件でティレルが自死。皆を救うために再び死に戻りを敢行するが、次の世界戦でも。
Okay, I get it. You can stop there. Why do you have memories from before my fatal rewinds? Everything should revert when I go back in time. If it doesn't affect you, does that make you a witch too?
魔女なんてそんな大層なもんじゃねえよ。俺は。
Antigen, he says. It's not a word you commonly hear, but he is masochistic. Smile makes it hard to ask for clarification. I opt to go down a different route. Why do you know that much about me? I can only assume you've been watching me.
そうだよ。監視してたのさ。ずっとお前のことを。お前が意志と同類なのかどうか見極めるためにな。
Ish.
お前たちが破滅の魔女と呼んでいるやつの名だ。
You want to know if we're the same? Are you serious? Hello, Dilong. How are you?
お前も意志も魔法で他人の人生をコロコロ変えてんじゃねえか。
Yep,
どう
I
って言
am.
わずになんて言うんだ。
How dare you? Anger explodes within me before I know what's happened. I have my knife at his throat. Over and over again, I've had to watch the people I love die because of him. And you think we're the same? You claim to have been watching me, but it sounds like you need to get your eyes checked. He's murdered the people I love. What could possibly make you think we're the same? Well then, bye-bye, Liv. What do you mean, bye-bye? Rip? Everyone who sides with that bitch is an enemy of mine. If you're with him, then I...
殺すって？そりゃいい。やってくれよ。
What? I don't get you. Who the hell are you? Are you on my side or not? Enough beating around the bush. Oh, okay. Then sleep well, Kaiser. Sweet beams. Sorry. I was reading this too late. Zenn lights up his cigarette. After blowing out a puff of smoke, he looks to me with a piercing gaze.
そういうお前こそどうなんだよ。正義なんだって。意志と組みしてるのはお前の方なんじゃないのか。
Honesty, why do you keep saying that?
お前だろ。あの大虐殺の犯人は。
What? No! What do you mean? You think he looks good? I don't know. Excuse me?
それだけじゃねえ。せっかく意志を殺せたのに、お前は死に戻りして台無しにした。あれ以上の結末なんかねえのに。
Sure, that was the only time I was able to kill the witch. In all my attempts to turn back time. But in that timeline, Maya was killed, Hugo was turned into a murderer, and the vice commander was...
何が起きたか知っている。
If you know, then how can you say that was the best ending? Vice Commander Cryus is your friend. How can you face his death and claim that timeline to have been a happy ending?
クライオスならそういう。あいつがそういう人間だって、お前も分かってるだろ。アナスタシア、お前は。
Zenn's hand flies to his chest, his fingers digging in as his face warps in pain. Hey, are you okay?
もうかよ。まだ10分も話してないってのに。ああ
Zenn.
答えろ。なんでみんなを殺した？
What are you talking about? I haven't killed anyone. I recognize this pain. This is exactly what Master Terrell looked like after forming his pact with the witch.
困るよ、ゼン。この子には関わるなって言った。お前みたいな異物が紛れ込んだら、せっかくのゲームが台無しになる。
Rudy Fox. Sila. XD.
言うほど邪魔してねえだろ。ただ話をしてただけだ。
アナスタシア、ゼンを抱き込もうとしてるのかもしれないけど、無駄だよ。こいつはどうあっても君の味方にはならない。
Yeah.
だってもう僕らの間では条件交渉が成立してるからね。
Well, you can also say Scaramouche in Genshin, Shin in Amnesia, and... Oh, which other games is he in? In a lot of other games, I think. Yeah. What kind of contract did you forge with them? Tell me.
君には関係ない。
忍者。
は？何それ？ああ、無理しちゃって。死ぬことはないって言っても、死ぬほど辛いのは変わらないのにね。ゼンとの契約ではね、僕側からは君に深く関わるなっていう条件を出してるんだ。すれ違ったり、たわいもない話をするくらいのことまで縛ることはできないけど。でも、これでもう君からゼンに近づくことはなくなった。だって君はいい子だから。ここまで言えばわかるよね。無関係の人間を苦しめるなんてとても罪深いことだ。
Wish coming from someone who's seen plenty of unrelated people to their death.
でもこれでも君からゼンに近づくことはなくなった。だって君はいい子だから。
Actually true, Zilong. With a bit of help, I managed to get Zenn to the hospital. I have a mountain of questions for him, but I'm not so heartless to press him while he's in this state. Instead, I head towards the Inquisitorial Order.
なんだお前か。もうアルカナの酒を見つけてきたのか？
Zenn tried to tell me something important in a way the witch wouldn't understand. And so it's no more than a guess. My gut is telling me that Ninja knows about what's going on. Still, this isn't exactly an easy topic to broach. If I'm not careful about this, he could think me a witch. I have to avoid the possibility. Nope. I might as well go for it. Master Terrell, you're ninja, right?
はあ何を言い出すかと思えばそういうつまらない冗談で笑ってやるほど優しくないさっさと帰れ
Wow. I hit him point blank, but he didn't react at all. Master Terrell is as incredible as ever, and now I have to pull back. You moonlight as ninja to save those that are falsely accused of being a witch. I will of course keep this to myself. Oh, hey, welcome, Hannah. All fine. So long as you tell me about Zenn Sorfield. Is it Zenn root? Yeah, it is actually Zenn root, yep.
何を思い込んでるのか知らないが言いたければ言え好きにしろ保身のために友人を売るほど落ちぶれちゃいない
Okay, let's go. Zenn is your favorite, right? Isn't he, Anna? Master Terrell, I should have known better. I apologize for my foolish behavior. Please forget everything I've said just now. I'll be taking my leave now.
くそ待て赤毛猿俺が忍者だって話誰から聞いた
I actually think that the most people like Terrell the most from the game because I was checking on my ending videos on YouTube and Terrell's ending has the most views. I think after it's Cyrus. Can't say.
Zenn だろすぐ顔に出るやつだな楽で助かるよZenn が俺のことをバラすなんてよほどのことがなけりゃありえないZennを脅して聞き出したのかいやそれはないなお前の目的はZennの素性であって俺じゃないだったらなぜZennはバラした赤毛の問いを俺に答えさせるためか自分で答え
He's at the hospital. He lost consciousness as we were talking. Oh, but you should know.
怪我でも病でもないだろ
Why do you know that? He speaks as if he's seen everything with his own eyes. The speed with which his thoughts race sends a shiver up my spine.
Zenn についてかこういうのはクライオスにやらせろよな俺の方が話が早いから俺を選んだんだろうが
He looks scantily annoyed by this task, which has me wondering just how complicated Zenn's history could possibly be. After some hesitation, Master Terrell finally speaks.
Zenn はこの世界の人間じゃない
What?
こことは文化も言語も違う世界から来たんだと終わり
Wait, you can't just end it there. Keep going.
俺もそのくらいしか知らないこの世界に来たのは事故のようなもので自分の意思じゃないとかどういうわけかこの世界に来てから年を取ることもなければ怪我をしても一瞬で完治したり病にもかからないっていう化け物じみた体になってることとか元の世界に帰りたいがいくらその方法を探しても見つからないってことくらいしか知らん
I'd say that means you know an awful lot. Zenn didn't exactly look like he was from Historica, but I thought he was just from another country. A body for whom death has no purchase. He's the polar opposite of me. This would be such an easy fight if I were immortal too. You don't consider him a witch?
俺にとっての魔女は悪意を持って人間を脅かす者を指す無害だったら別に頭に角が生えてようが口が裂けてようがどうでもいい ゼンは人間だ。ただ体が不老不死ってだけだ。
His words are blunt, but I can feel the friendship he shares with Zen in the crevice between. I didn't have the most positive impression of Zen, considering the way he acted toward me. But when I think back on everything I've been through, he was one of the people that helped me. His presence gave me courage way back when. And he's also Master Tyrell's and Vice Commander Cryos' friend.
ちなみに忍者っていうのはゼンに教わったものだ。ゼンの世界では歴史的な人物らしい。クライオスのあれも。
The Vice Commander? What about him?
なんだ、そっちは知らないのか。今回の件には関係ないから忘れろ。
Now you've just made me curious, but I guess he's right.
忍者のこと前から聞いたなら最初からそう言え。変に隠すから遠回りすることになった。
I'm sorry. I was afraid of ruining your friendship by revealing I'd heard about it from him. I thought I could make only myself the villain here by threatening you, but that was rash of me.
話は終わっただろ。さっさと行け。
Of course, I'll be on my way. Thank you again for all your help. When I move to the exit room, I hear something hit the ground. Why did it get so dark all of a sudden?
赤毛、外を見てみろ。
My hair stands on end. Fear controls my every impulse, compelling me to run. I've witnessed this multiple times now, but that doesn't mean I've gotten used to it. Darkness swallows the sun, dyeing the sky the color of despair. On nights after the sky is dyed black, a membrum is born. Once again, someone will have their hands stained with another's blood. I was hoping to get more out of Zen, but his contract with the witch makes that impossible. From this point forward, I should focus on the trial. What role will I be assigned this time? As a knight, I was a sacrificer, and as an inquisitor, I simply played my part. This all means nothing if I can't actually participate in the trial. If I'm not chosen as a sacrificer, then I need to work under Master Tyrell again. Oh, I've never actually become a membrum yet. This is exactly the kind of thing you'd call a silver lining. The very thought of having my heart eaten away is terrifying, not to mention the idea of killing someone.
お前だろ、あの大虐殺の犯人は。
What did he mean by that? When did this slaughter take place? Is he referring to when everyone at the Lindsay household was killed? Zen should be well aware that the membrum in that case was Maya, not me. Thinking about it won't give me any answer. I should be focusing on what I can do right now, but I can't think of anything. It's frustrating to just stand by and twiddle my thumbs when someone will have to become a membrum tonight. I have all this experience, but can't make use of it. If I could only know ahead of time who will be chosen, we wouldn't have to suffer like this. Oh. A single ray of light shines through the clouds over my mind, as annoyed as I am that I didn't consider the idea immediately. I'm happier I thought of it all. I now have the power to see into the future. It's an ability I won through the triumph in the trial, so I absolutely have to make use of it. Or I would if I'd once been able to use it willingly. I'm still not entirely sure how it works. The first time I saw the future was when I worked as an inquisitor and investigated Helen Preston. I foresaw her death as we took her to the Order. The second future I saw was... this was just it. I guess I've only ever seen futures involving death. It was the same for the past I saw. Is death the trigger? As ominous as that is, it certainly works in my favor now. I squeeze my eyes shut and focus my mind on 2 in the morning. I stay like that for a little while until my concentration is broken by the sound of the door opening. That must be Maya. I suppose it is about dinner time. I was hoping to get a glimpse of the future, but I guess I have to try again later. Wait. Why is my room so dark? I don't remember turning off the lights. Ah! Hello, Conrad! Oh. What? For some reason, Conrad stands in my room. His vapid smile is gone, replaced by a terrifyingly cold gaze. There is it, the yandere face from him. He adjusts his grip on what looks to be an axe. The heavy 8-inch blade looks ill-suited to stabbing. This is a weapon meant for hacking. The blade looks utterly foreign in his hands as he shifts it over to lift it up with both arms. He uses the weight to his advantage and as he swings it down in my direction. Wait, I don't know. I think... Did Lucian die in this timeline also? Will he die in this timeline also? I don't remember. Actually.
Ah, お嬢様、お目覚めになりました？お食事の用意、もうすぐできますよ。お嬢様?
Oh yeah, thanks, Maya. I just saw the future. That's all going to happen tonight. Conrad is the man room this time, and I'm his target. If I let this play out, I end up back with Rune without having accomplished anything. Considering my current mental state, I want to avoid any superfluous fatal rewinds. Something about what Conrad said in that vision bothers me. Dreams. When the memory is active, everyone else is magicked asleep. I've been forced unconscious a number of times now. Yet Conrad looked straight at me and mentioned listening to my screams. That's not the kind of thing you say to someone who's asleep. Does the sleeping magic not work on me anymore? It's not impossible. Rune is regaining his powers with each trial win, if we assume I'm being affected by this as well. It's worth testing.
Konbanwa, 王子様。君の望みを叶えに来てあげたよ。さあ、心を開いて。
Stop right there.
なんで君がここに？っていうかなんで起きてるの？
Apparently your magic doesn't work on me anymore.
ああ、ゲームに勝ち続けているからか。なるほど。未来も見たわけだ。
Magic keeps Conrad sound asleep on his bed.
で、何しに来たの？元婚約者を助けに？うわー、純愛だね。
Pure love. Sure. Enough of your tasteless jokes. I'm here to protect myself.
なんだ、この王子様君のこと殺すんだ。それじゃあゲームが始まらないよね。間違った選択をするところだったよ。教えてくれてありがとう。なんて憎い男に殺される君を見るのもまた一興。夢のない夜を存分に楽しめたんです。
The witch puts a hand on Conrad's forehead, and a murky black fog gradually spreads over his body.
いや、やっぱりやめよう。ね、アナスタシア。君の望みって何？
I think it's quite impressive and good how Tetsuya Kakihara, that speaks the Witch of Ruin, is changing his voice all the time. Like sometimes he sounds like he's like crazy, sometimes he sounds like he's like total evil. It's like changing all the time when he speaks this character, which is like holy shit. Interesting. Hannah, just scared. Like holy shit, what's I desire to protect the people I love, and to do that I must defeat the witch. Yeah, you can always hear him, Mirai. In every character you can hear this character is spoken by Tetsuya Kakihara. You can always hear this. He also speaks Scaramouche in Genshin Impact, and you can also hear this. That's like, yeah. His voice is like from the sound very special. But did you ever hear him speak German? When he speaks German, right? I mean, he's born in Germany, I think, if I right remember. When he speaks German, he sounds like completely different. When he speaks German, he sounds not so good. I'm sorry. His Japanese voice is just amazing, but his German, when he speaks German, is like, I don't want to listen to it. Is that all? I want to be stronger. I refuse to live under someone else's rule ever again. To be stronger? In what way? I don't know, but there's a much simpler method. You can kill those that terrorized you. There's no future without confronting the past. There's no hope without revenge. Fight. I'm here to help you. And when you win, I shall guide you into a beautiful world. But to reach there, you must rid yourself of those shackles at your ankles. I will grant you the strength to condemn the past and the blade to commit your revenge. This Ingol dance is yours and yours alone. He lived in Germany until he was 7 years. He forgot a lot because he learned so much about men. Ah, yeah. Yeah, I know. I understand that, Mirai. What do you mean? Yeah, probably. I mean, he lives now, yeah. He went to Japan then, right? Yeah. I will sever the morals that confine you. I will crush the ethics that bind you. I will erase the virtues that torment you. Now awaken.
君はもう自由だよ、アナスタシア。
Yeah, you should be around 37 now. Like nearly 40, right? Do you know Subaru Kimura? crazy long. That's boomer age. I think Akira Ishida is actually older than Tetsuya Kakihara, and Junichi Suwabe is also older. I think Akira Ishida should be middle 40s. And Junichi Suwabe also, right? Or is he even older? Is he even in his 50s? I don't know. Do you know Subaru? I don't know Subaru, actually.
お前がおかしな行動をするたびに我がリンゼル家の血筋が悪いのだとエベリーナに思われるじゃないか。これ以上私に恥をかかせるな。
Oh, what? Akira Ishida is older than Suwabe. Interesting. I thought he's younger. But that's probably also his voice, because Akira Ishida sounds very young.
はいできた。あら少し切りすぎちゃったかしら。
Oh yeah, sure. Send me on Discord. If you will join with me today for Code Realize today too. It depends when you stream, because I will go as far as I can. I will probably stop like at 12 o'clock my time with the route here, and then I can join if you play Code Realize. And holy shit, I hate this woman. Her sister is just so crazy. And she's also crazy.
レティシアは死ななかった。あなたは母親の命を犠牲にして生まれてきたのよ。これその罰よ。
I kill them. 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 I kill them and erase everything about that despicable past.
Oi.
Mirai, you forgot some. I killed them. Really? Zen, why are you here?
知るか。なんか聞こえてきたんだよ。お前の声が止めてくれって。
The warmth of his body towards my frozen heart. It's only as it beats with compassion once more that I realize what it is I was about to do. Ah, I see. It's me. I'm the Membrum. I pull out my sword, but then rips it from my hands before I can point the blade at my stomach.
何しやがる。
Let me do this. Give me back my sword. I need to do this before I kill anyone. I'm overtaken by a terrible, terrible thirst. Just as one whose throat is dry thirsts for water, I thirst for the blood of my family. I don't want to kill anyone. I don't, but I'm a Membrum now, so I feel it's inevitable. Membra kill humans by their very nature. It's as though I've been given an irrefutable reason to kill. Then give me back my sword. I cannot kill another person. If my powers to turn back time make me numb to murder, I won't be myself anymore.
本当にお前は人殺しじゃないんだな。
Well, I think Mira is sleeping at this time, Hannah. Maybe she's not. Then she can join too, what would be probably fun. That's why I've been saying, I use my Fatal Rewind to save people. Why would I ever use it to kill?
そういう思考の遊びをしているんだとイシュから聞いていたんだ。あいつの言うことなんか大半嘘なのにな。あの光景を見ていたせいで後悔したよ。
Horrific spectacle.
お前が優勝した武術大会の夜、広場にいた者全員一人残らず殺された。
What?
俺が駆けつけた時は全員死んでたから、どうやって殺されたのか知らない。ただ、あんなもん人間の仕業じゃねえ。間違いなく人外の仕業だ。エンダーは出現してなかったし、イシュは条件交渉が成立しなきゃ魔法使えない。だったらお前しかいねえと思ったんだ。
Wait, people died in the town square? I didn't know about that. I don't remember that. That night the witch showed me those cards and then... I first chose the justice card. My awareness jumped after that and I suddenly found myself in the basement of the Inquisitorial Order. I see. That empty space in my memories is just like what happens after I use the Fatal Rewind. Did I die there too? Is that why I went back in time?
死体は山ほどあった。お前がいたかどうかまでは確認してねえよ。
Can the witch retain his memories of what happened before my Fatal Rewind?
そこは俺も気になってるところだ。話している感じ覚えてなさそうではあるんだが。お前が死に戻りした後、決まって俺に何が起きたかを聞きに来る。まあ、毎回追い返しているんだが、覚えてたらそんなことしないんだ。けど、もしそうなら毎回裁判のメンツが変わるはずがないんだよな。
Which means there's a chance I won't be a member again.
おい。
Give me back my sword. Zenn quietly places the sword in my hands.
戻ったからって解決するとは限らねえぞ。
I know that, but I can't bear the thought of killing someone. This won't be in vain either. I want to talk this over with Rune.
ルーンって誰だよ。
Oh right, I haven't told you about him. The magic I use is entirely borrowed from him. He's the reason I'm able to use magic despite not being a witch.
本当に信用できるのか。そいつこそイシュの仲間ってことないだろうな。
That I doubt. He's a good kid.
誰にでも言ってそうなセリフだな。まあ、今はいいか。
You should probably get away from me. I'll be fine. I'm used to this now. Once I'm sure Zenn has left, I take a deep breath. I could pierce my heart if this were a knife, but that's a bit hard with the longer blade. Should I go back to grab a knife? No, I can't. My resolve would waver. I put the blade to my neck and smother all the screams. Screams of fear, of a desire to live and to escape the pain. I'm one swift movement, my hand moves. The pain stings with such ferocity, I'd almost rather go insane. I immediately realize I failed. The cut on my neck is far too shallow. Death will take its sweet time claiming me, leaving me to silently scream and writhe in pain until release finally comes. As I feel each second like an agonizing eternity, someone steps close. Zenn picks up the foreign sword, his voice soft in my ears.
次は俺を頼れ。いいな。
And then he thrusts the sword into my heart.
お帰りなさい、アナスタシア。
Good to see you, Rune.
全部見ていたよ。魔女の魔法。一部だけだけど、耐性がついたみたいだね。でもそのせいで、君はメンブルムにされてしまった。助けてあげられなくてごめん。
You've nothing to apologize for, Rune. That I can do more is proof we're moving forward. What do you think about Zenn? Do you think he's really from another world?
多分彼は本当のことを言ってるんじゃないかな。悪い気は感じないし、それに最後君のことを助けてくれた。君が苦しみ続けなくて済むようにとどめを刺してくれたんだよね。あんなこと。
Yeah. There's one more thing I want to ask you. Can the Witch of Reen remember what happens prior the Fatal Rewind?
それはできないよ。僕だってこの隔離を一歩出れば君との会話が成立しなくなる。この隔離は空間、時間の概念がない。現世の断りが通じない世界なんだ。
Explain.
あ、前から言おうと思ってたんだけど、そもそも世界線って考え方が間違ってるんだよ。破滅の魔女は君がパラレルワールドを渡り歩いてるように認識してたみたいだけど、あいつの世界線を巡ってるって発言ね。確かに過去を変えることで世界が枝分かれしていく、そういう時渡り的な魔法もあるけれど、死に戻りは完全なる時間の巻き戻し。同じ世界軸上で完結することであって、そのためにパラレルワールドを作り出したりはしないんだ。大きく時を戻すことができないのはそのせいなんだけどね。ほら、タイムパラドックスが起きたら大変でしょ。そんな大事故が起きたら現世がどうなるかわからないもの。君が世界線っていう言葉を使うたびにモヤモヤしててさ、説明できてよかった。
I have no idea what he just told me, except that I was wrong to talk about things in terms of timelines.
ゼンが記憶の保持者でいられるのは、彼自身がこの閣僚みたいな存在なんだと思う。不老不死もそのせい。異世界からの来訪者だから断りが通用しないんだ。でも破滅の魔女は違う。あいつは現世で生まれた存在だ。僕みたいに閣僚に閉じ込められたわけでもない。記憶を保持で。
But if that's true, why does he choose different people for each trial? If he didn't have his memories, wouldn't he take the same actions?
そうなんだよね。不思議だよ。本当にあいつの考えてることは何もわからない。昔は。
His words come out in a low whisper. I feel nothing but animosity until this point, but now I hear something, a kind to affection. You didn't? How long ago are you talking about?
それは僕とあいつはもともとは仲間だったんだよ。同じし。
And who was your master?
女神クロムだよ。はあ、言っちゃった。口止めされてたのに。
Now hold on. The goddess really exists.
君は失礼だな。女神様はちゃんといるよ。今は長い眠りについているけど。
Then wake her up. She can do something about this awful situation.
無理だよ。女神様はもう二度とお目覚めにならない。
Why not?
いろいろあったんだよ。どうにもならないんだから、女神様の話はおしまい。
If she won't help her people when they need it most, then what's the point of all those prayers?
女神様は人間を救うものだなんて決めつけないでほしいね。女神様に。
Sure, but the Witch of Reen was one of her subordinates. His mistakes are her responsibility.
だから。
Oh, lol. He got a mask. His voice is cut off by X suddenly appearing over his mouth. What is that?
女神様について語ることは禁じられてるんだ。
Says who? Again. Who's doing this? Nothing like this has ever happened before.
とにかくこの話は不毛だよ。悪いのは僕だ。あいつに負けてこんなところに閉じ込められてしまった無力な僕が全部悪いんだ。
Once defeated pout drains me of any urge to condemn him for this. I see myself in the way he expresses shame at his own weakness. Just tell me one thing, why did the witch betray you? You were allies at one point, right?
それはギリギリの質問だな。でも大丈夫みたいだから答えるね。あいつは自分の欲望を満たすために女神様の大切なものを盗んだんだ。
Something important. Does it have anything to do with your powers? Actually, let's try to think about this another way. Your powers actually belong to the god.
ああ、そこまで。ストップ。これ以上はダメ。おしまい。
Okay, I choose to believe in you, Rune, but now I need to go back in time.
次はメンブルムにならずに済むといいね。
So long as I don't go to Conrad, he should become the Membrum. I may be his target, but since the sleeping magic doesn't work on me, I think I can handle it.
そうだよね。それじゃあ死に戻るよ。
Ready. Let's go back to the morning. I see the black sky. I need to speak with Zenn.
願わくばこれが最後の仰せになりますように。
May this be our final encounter? I don't think so.
エクスペクトアニムス。
まあお嬢様、ソファーで寝るなんてお行儀が悪いですわ。さあさあ。
Fine.
ずいぶんお疲れなことで、また訓練ですか？ほどほどにしないとまた倒れてしまいますわよ。
Maya. When I come to, I'm passed out on the sofa. I don't remember how or why I got there, and trying to remember only makes the brain fog worse.
それとも昼間に見た黒い空のせいですか？今夜は魔女が訪れるかもしれませんものね。せめて今のうちに兵器を養っておきましょう。
What?
さあ、シャワーを浴びてきてください。その間に食事の用意をしておきますから。
I wanted to return before I met up with Zen, but I only went as far back as right after the sky turned black. And every time I use my Fatal Rewind, my memories of events immediately before and after are muddled. Wait, every time? Something bothers me, but when I try to follow that train of thought, I feel an invisible curtain. It's an inconsistency I could easily ignore, should I choose to do so. Oh, thank you for the hydrator, ne? But when I choose not to ignore it and find out what the truth of it all is, I'm swallowed by darkness. What do you wish for? My heart lurches into my throat, as if to warn me of danger. No, no, surely this isn't. You want power, do you not? Power to never again be trampled underfoot. Stop, Do you know why those you love die? It's because of you. Your weakness beckons death closer. So, from whence does this weakness come? Even now, you remain trapped by the memories of your suffering. So you remain weak, tormented by sentiments of inferiority and self-deprecation. There's no future without confronting the past. There's no hope without revenge. Fight. I'm here to help you. And when you win, I shall guide you into a beautiful world. But to reach there, you must rid yourself of those shackles at your ankles. I will grant you the strength to condemn the past and the blade to commit your revenge. This indulgence is yours and yours alone. I will sever the morals that confine you. I will crush the ethics that bind you. I will erase the virtues that torment you. Now, awaken. Yeah, again.
君はもう自由だよ。アナスタシア。
We are again a membrum, and hey Daniel, thank you for the hydrate.
この運命から逃げられるとは思わないでね。
Wait, what is this link? Death Note, Sakurama. For what? Huh? Okay. Interesting. But not so funny. I don't know the context. Forgetting. Ah, okay, that makes sense. The sword hangs heavily at my hip. I've brought such a large weapon because it is the most suitable for killing multiple people. Blood rushes to my head, robbing me of my reason. Yet the clarity with which I regard murder keeps me as sharp as a newly polished blade. I can change if I kill them. I can live without succumbing to fear. I can become strong if I succeed in my revenge here. I can beat the witch. Killing is a crime, but this is no such thing. I'll be fine. My sins will be forgiven.
Oi!
Here again are you. How kind of you, but I stay away if I were you. You wouldn't want to infringe on your contract. Oh yeah, Reaper made me play. I don't know what that game is. Probably gacha with girls, right?
少しくらいは平気だ。それより。
Yeah, looks like I'm the membrum this time too. Moon said the witch isn't able to keep his memories after each reset.
まさか、俺たち以外にも記憶の保持者がいるのか?
The way Rune explained it, that's highly unlikely.
言っとくけど、俺じゃないからな。
So, you may have doubted me. I very quickly dispelled all my distrust of you.
仕方ねえだろ。医師もお前が虐殺を行った張本人だって言い張るし、あの時は信じるしかなかったんだよ。
Holy shit, no. I wouldn't like to play another gacha game. I can't even handle those gacha games that I have. At the moment, I focus. The gacha game that I focus is like Genshin Impact and New Carnival. I don't even play so much Tears of Tempest anymore. And then Honkai Star Rail will also come out soon, I think. I'm kidding, still. I'm surprised to hear the witch would lie about that. What on earth is his goal?
あいつの思考を読もうとすると頭が痛くなる。
Good point. Oh, apparently the witch originally worked under the goddess Nona.
女神クロムってこの国の神様だっけか。あいつが女神の。へえ。あんなたちの悪い奴を雇うなんて寛大なんだか見る目がないんだが。
And for me as also, I have a lot of games still also in backlog, like Fire Emblem. Then I have like Scholar X Malis Unlimited at backlog and Daisho XL, so enough to do. One was apparently the same. He said that one day the witch robbed the goddess of something precious and ran away.
大切なものって。
Unfortunately, Woon is sworn to silence, so I couldn't find out anything else. If I had to guess, I'd say it had something to do with the goddess' powers.
なんだ。女神様には自分の手下の面倒くらいはちゃんとやっといてほしいもんだな。
But look, Daniel, I have now also this one. Thank you for joining me, Ray. Take a nice sleep and sweet dreams. See you next time around. On that, we're in complete agreement. You suffer to the point of collapse when you get close to me, so why are you here? You get nothing positive out of being with me.
お前のことクライオスに頼まれたからだ。
That promise would simply disappear if I were to use my fatal rewind.
言えねえよ。
Yeah. It's actually, I got it from a friend that also has this emote because I loved it so much, and then he said, okay, if you don't spread it around, like give it to others, then you also can have it.
時間が巻き戻っても俺はずっと覚えてる。たとえ忘れられたとしても託された思いまでは消えない。お前も同じ考えだと思ってたんだけどな。
I would like to have like this emote with Kuya. Like that he's also wearing like a sleeve, but just not the chicken thing, just like that he has his ears. And yeah, that would be amazing, but yeah. I think it's not too easy, so easy to make this emote.
まあ、一種の仲間じゃねえかと疑ってた部分もあるから、今まで傍観者に徹してたんだが、クライオスに頼まれたんじゃ関わらないわけにはいかねえ。
As I speak with Zenn, the shattered emotions inside me coalesce into something whole again. For the first time, I feel the genuine joy of finding someone I can be candid with. If Zenn's with me, then maybe. That thought is cut short by the appearance of a bit of sweet sweat on Zenn's brow. Even now, the chains around his heart are causing him pain. He's been acting fine this whole time, so that I wouldn't notice.
あのさ、契約ってどういうものか分かってる？
またお前か。そんなにこいつと俺が関わるのが嫌なのか。嫉妬深い旦那かよ。
それなら君は真男だね。もしかして今までもこうやって彼女に近づいてたの？不老不死のお前とじゃまともな契約にはならないだろうとは初めから思ってたけどね。鎖を心臓以外に置いたら何か変わるかな。死ぬことはなくても痛いのは痛いもんね。両足に打とうか、それとも腕？どこが一番嫌
Live me right now burning my resin at the same time. I also auto-debuting on Tears of Tempest. Wow.
てめえなんかの口車に乗って俺がバカだったぞ。
そんなこと言っていいの？あんなに元の世界に帰りたがってたくせにこの世界の人間に同情しちゃったみたいだけど無意味だよ。お前は同じ時を歩むことすらできない異物。よそ者なんだからさ。
Zen absolutely belongs here. We may have been born in different worlds and grew up in different cultures, but so what? We're here together, breathing the same air. That's all that matters.
こいつは化け物だよ。殺しても死なないってエンダーと同じ。
Refused to die even when killed. That's just his personal quirk.
はあ
He's just made of slightly stronger stuff than most people and looks a bit younger than his age.
いや、それはさすがに無理が。
This is actually a cute picture from him.
不老不死を越せ。そんなこと言ったの、お前が初めてだよ。
何にしても、一度交わした契約は破棄できない。この子のそばにいたって、お前には何のメリットもないよ。心臓をえぐられるのが癖になったって言うなら止めないけど。
If you can't break it, then why not rewrite it?
はあ
Rich, you said before that if I won as a membrum, you'd guide me into a new world.
なんだそれ。どういうことだよ。
I understood it as the reward that members receive for winning. Am I wrong?
合ってるよ。
I see. In that case, I shall win as a membrum and promise to hand over that reward to Zenn.
ちょっと待てよ。お前、散々メンブルムは嫌だって言ってたじゃねえか。だからあんなひどい死に方までしたくせに、何コロコロ変わってんだよ。
Being a membrum is apparently a fate. I can't run away from him. Isn't that right, Witch?
だって君、眠りの魔法が通じなくなったんでしょ。しかも、未来まで見えちゃうんだ。そんなチート状態でサクリファイスになってもつまらないよ。
If I were to be a membrum, what would be my victory conditions? Until now, it would count as a win for me so long as the humans won.
当然メンブルム側の勝利でしょ。人間側が勝てばいいのに、君が自白するだけで勝ちってことになっちゃうもん。
Then, am I right to assume that if I were to win, I would receive both my reward as a membrum and a portion of powers back?
そういうことだけど、2つの報酬あるのずるい気がするな。でもこればっかりは裁判の仕組み上仕方ないか。でも君がメンブルムとして勝てる姿は全然想像つかないな。君は復讐したいって思ってはいるけど、結局一度も実行に移せたことないじゃん。せっかくメンブルムになったんだから、この機会を逃しちゃもったいないよ。君にはそれだけの力があるんだからさ。
Silence. I've no intention of borrowing your power. I'm focused entirely on defeating you. My own personal circumstances are secondary.
なあ、そういうことにしといてあげるな。
Now that I'm a membrum, I absolutely must win and regain my power. And to do that, I need you, Zenn.
わざわざ契約書き換えてまで手に入れるほどのやつじゃないんだけどね。せいぜいエンダーの盾くらい。
Zenn once helped me when we were in the castle. If I can return that favor here, then all the better.
え？ああ、そういえばそんな話を聞いたような。
Master Tyrell once told me that we make decisions to pick out that which we need most. I extend a single hand to Zenn.
契約に加えてくれ。俺の言うことにはちゃんと耳を貸すよう。
Understood.
考えなしに行動すんなよ。動き出す前にまずこっちに相談。OK？
Do I come across as that much of a dunce to you? Got it.
それから
There's more.
二度とあんな無茶な死に方をしないと誓え。もしまた必要に迫られたら俺が手を貸す。
Okay.
契約成立だ。
There's that scenery again. Could this be the world Zenn is from? Am I seeing a completely different world through memories of Zenn's past?
胸の痛みがなくなった。
Then it worked.
うわー、びっくりだな。契約の書き換えまでできちゃうなんて素人とは思えない。君ってすごい才能の持ち主なんだね。善がついたところで何か変わるとも思えないけどね。君たちは知らないだろうけど、世界ってものは異物をそう簡単には受け入れないものなんだよ。
おい、クソキモ魔女。
は？
お前さっき城にいた時のことを聞いたって言ってたな。
え？言ってないよ。
地方が始まったが、お前も年だもんな。
言ったよ！言いました！それが何？
つまりお前は他の奴らと等しく死に戻りの影響を受ける。味方に記憶の保持者がいて、そいつから全部聞いて行動してたんだな。てめえに情報を漏らしてるのは、どこのドイツだ？
うざ。さっきまで陸に上がった魚みたいな顔してたくせに。何？早速新しいご主人様に有能アピールですか？揚げ足取ってるだけなのに。やだもう。
図星疲れたからって口数増えてんじゃねえよ。
週末の魔女だよ。僕、破滅の魔女なんて呼ばれてるけど、彼女に比べればとんでもない。古代広告もいいとこだよ。僕なんか使い魔程度のものさ。彼女こそが魔女の起源。真に魔女と呼べるのは彼女だけ。世界に終わりを招く唯一の存在。カーニバルは彼女に捧げる前菜さ。本当の絶望はまだ始まってもいない。彼女はね、何でも知ってるんだよ。アナスタシア、君が何をしようと全てをお見通し。どんなに力を蓄えようとも君は彼女にかなわない。この先に待つ者は後輩だけさ。おっと、言い過ぎちゃったな。嘘。今頑張ったらなんとかなるかもしれないよ。やる気なくして途中でゲームを投げ出さないでね。メンブルムとして輝く君が見たいんだ。
I thought you once served under Goddess Norna. Why don't you work to protect the world she created?
その女神様が作り上げた世界だからだよ。
He disappeared.
さすがに今のは嘘ついてるわけじゃなさそうだったな。
Yeah, I never would have thought this all would lead to something as outrageous as the end of the world. How do I fight against someone even stronger than the Witch of Ruin? Why did this have to happen just as hope was within reach?
ほら、下向くんじゃねえよ。世界なんてバカでかいもんがそう簡単に滅びると思うか？ 打つ手はある。諦めさえしなければなんとかなるってことは、お前が一番よく知ってるだろ。
Yeah, you're exactly right. The road ahead is more dangerous than the roads I've already taken. So I'm not alone, and this gives me strength I need to continue forward. How ironic is it, then, that I must use this power to kill? It's past 2:30 a.m. The first hurdle lies right in front of me. If we're to start this trial, then I have to kill someone.
「おめでとうアナスタシア」。
さっきの立ち去り方はもう出てこない空気ガンガンに出してただろう。再登場早すぎじゃねえか。
Actually
そんなに目立ちたいのか。
人を登場回数でしか存在確立できない雑魚キャラ扱いしないでくれるかな。
So why are you congratulating me?
君が殺人鬼への一歩を踏み出したことさ。メンブルムっていいでしょ。その解放感やみつきになるよね。
そんなくだらねえこと言いに来たのか。
まさかメンブルムのサポーターとして仕事しに来たんだよ。眠りの魔法は午前2時から3時まで効力を発揮する。メンブルムはその時間に殺人を行うことになってるよね。でも殺したい相手が遠くにいたら、何重もの鍵がついた部屋に閉じこもっていたら、メンブルムは人を殺す力はあっても移動手段はない。だからこの僕が送り届けてあげようってわけ。手厚いサービスでしょ。
So that's how it works. I was convinced Membra was simply able to teleport or use some other movement magic. That movement magic is still being used, doesn't change things much, but something isn't right. I feel like I'm missing something important.
で、誰を殺しに行こっか。ワクワク。
I'm fine.
え？
I don't need or want your help. I make my way to my victim with my own power. He's speechless.
そんな妙なこだわり持ったところで殺すことに変わりはないのにね。君ってほんとそんな性格してるよ。
言ったか。あいつは出てくるたびに不快にさせてくれるな。けど本当に良かったのか。意志の魔法がなけりゃ行ける範囲は限られるし、痕跡を残ししまう可能性もあるぞ。
Even so, I don't want to accept his help. This has nothing to do with my feeling or fixations. The rules surrounding his magic involve an agreed upon exchange of terms. But doesn't it strike you as rather vague? As human wants to kill someone, the witch gives them the ability to do so. I get that much, but what does the witch actually get out of it?
現場に向かうまでもそれなりの労力は必要だぞ。殺したい相手が遠くにいたら、どんなに力があっても発揮できずに時間だけが過ぎていく。そうなると意志も意志で都合悪いんじゃねえか。あいつの目的は魔女裁判を起こすことなんだから。
Right, so he offers to help because he benefits his own goals.
まあ、あいつと極力関わらない方がいいに決まってる。お前の選択は間違ってないと思うぜ。な、そういや、人を殺せる力ってのはどういうもんなんだ。腕力が化け物レベルになったとか、そういうことか。
I'm not sure. I tried lifting something fairly heavy, but I didn't feel a difference. Maybe it's different against another human.
俺で試すなよ。
Oof. Why and how did you jump that conclusion anyway? More than anything physical, I think my mind has changed the most. I'm confident I can kill anyone. I lack the morals to weigh me down with guilt. I feel invisible, like I've become some god. Humans are sinful creatures, their deaths of no consequences. Anything they deserve to die. That is justice in its purest form, and I'm sorry.
俺は短絡的な人間だから言うけどよ。お前がお前のままで人を殺すよりはいいと思ってるぜ。今はいっそイカれてた方がずっとマシだろう。誰を殺す？なるべく精神的に来ないやつにしろよ。リンゼル家かコンラッド、名前も知らない誰かか。
Where should I go tonight? Somewhere else entirely. Yep. Once I'm sure the blade has reached the heart, I slowly pull it out. The moment his life fades away, a familiar seal appears on the wall. That seal proves the Memrum committed the crime. With this act, I have no choice but to accept that I'm no better or worse than any other Memrum.
その男は一方的に思いを寄せた女を付け狙い、自宅に押し入って殺害。強盗殺人は重罪、さらに4度も繰り返してきた。死んで当然の男だ。
Are you trying to console me? The man I've just killed, Nahum Cox, was completely unknown to me until yesterday. He's a vile criminal whose repeated burglaries and murders took much longer to stop in the previous timeline. But in this one, Zenn's investigations led to an early capture. As a result, Zenn knows exactly where he was being kept. That was all it took for me to decide on him as my victim. If I kill someone I know, I might as well be asking to be scrutinized. Killing a criminal was no more than an act of self-protection. Is this really who I was all along? I calmly observe that killing someone will earn me another day at life, and make good on that decision. Since when was I so inhuman? Killing another for my own sake makes me no different from a witch. What are you? For reasons entirely unknown to me, Zenn stabs a knife into the man's lifeless body multiple times, into his stomach, his chest, his arms and legs, with a blank expression. What are you doing?
カモフラージュだ。お前、こいつが苦しまずに済むようにって心臓を刺しただろ。心臓一突きなんてな。武術に長けた人間にしかできねえことだ。誰が冷静だ。誰が意志と変わらないだ。俺から言わせりゃ、お前はまだまだ人間だ。これは励ましでもおべっかでもない。不安材料でもある。ここから先、もっとお前は苦しむことになる。いっそ狂っちまった方が楽なんじゃないかと思うぜ。
Rune told me that if my mental state reached its limits, I wouldn't be able to use my fatal rewind anymore.
そうか。お前に楽な道はないんだな。
I never thought to make this easy.
凶器はどうするか。この世界じゃ指紋鑑定なんて技術はないみてえだが、残しておくのは。凶器は俺が預かっとくぞ。
Okay, it's yours. Thanks for coming with me. I would have been utterly lost if I were alone in this situation. It's also incredible to see how the magic doesn't work on you. Not even the silence of the goddess can escape the sleeping magic.
なあなあ。つか、王族は偽物なんだろう。あのなんとかってバラを使って証明してたじゃねえか。さて、これからどうするか。
Fear prevents my thoughts from going much further. A disastrous future awaits me, and I can't do much about that, so I take a deep breath and slowly talk. Come morning, I head to the inquisitorial order. I start investigating, like I would otherwise. Not doing anything at all would make me more suspicious.
異端審問会か。ティレルと遭遇すると面倒になりそうだな。
He's far too perceptive. Any conversation I have with him, no matter how small, will wind up leading him to the truth. I wonder who will be chosen for the sacrificer. If Grand Commander Grievous is there, I can't see myself fooling him.
落ち着け。メンブルムとして勝利するって決めたんだろう。今からそんなんでどうする？冷静にならなきゃ死ぬぞ。操作は絶対に必要だな。メンブルムとして生き残るには、サクリファイスに罪をなすりつけるってことだ。そのためには情報が必要だろう。
I hadn't thought about that. I need to frame someone. Should probably handle this investigation myself. I can't drag someone else down with me. But Zenn, will you help me investigate? I know what I'm asking goes contrary to your profession. I'm sure you wouldn't want to send an innocent person to their death. You're more than welcome to turn me down.
バカ。
His finger poked gently at my forehead.
一人で行かせるわけないだろう。もう俺たちは一連卓勝だ。
Thank you, Zenn. That means a lot. I probably lost my composure again over the course of this, so it gives me courage knowing someone as level-headed as you is with me. I think in this he is like a bit blushing, but you can't really see him blushing so much because of his skin color.
今みたいに俺に頼ったらいい。一人で戦っていると思うな。
Wow, I didn't know he could smile like this. Maybe the change is too small to be called a proper smile, but his cold demeanor has shifted entirely. He radiates kindness and a kind of gentle affection now. It immediately reminds me of Zenn back in his administrator days and the way he helped me way back then. Did he first help me back then under the witch's order? The question just slips out, but even without explaining when and where back then refers to, Zenn seems to understand.
いや、あれは俺の気まぐれだ。気まぐれだから感謝なんかしなくていいぞ。
I see. Thank you.
なんか言うなって言ってんのに。
After discussing my plans with Zenn, I make my way toward the inquisitorial order. As I was the first sacrificer to show myself, the investigative records had yet to be made up. I return a few hours later to pick up the finished files. Master Tyrell was out on other business during boss visits, so I was thankfully able to avoid running into him. Ha! Oh my god, that's screwed. I skim the files for the sacrificers' names. Conrad, Prince Lucian, Vice Commander Cryus and Maya. That's that's not good for us. This is the absolute worst possible list. Yep. Someone on this list will have to die tonight. If only I could confess to my crimes.
おい、見ろあの女。首輪なんかつけてるぞ。こんな街中で。知女か？バカ野郎。あれはサクリファイスの証だろ。え？じゃああいつ魔女の手先なのか
I may be the man Brom, but I'm certainly not the witch's underling.
おい、その発言は危険すぎるぞ。
Actually too. I know, that's why I whispered it.
ご所望の新聞手に入れてきたぞ。いつもこんなのを手がかりにしてきたんだな。
Master Tyrrell works behind the scenes to get these articles published, so they tend to be far more trustworthy than their usual fare.
そういうことか。いつもおかしいと思ったんだよ。誰がサクリファイスなのか。なぜかこの新聞社だけ情報をつかむの早いんだから。ティデルには気をつけた方がいいな。あいつは頭が回る上、関門。
Agreed. Master Tyrrell excels in all that he does. As per usual, our time is limited. We need to think carefully about who we want to talk to.
目的を履き違えるなよ。誰になら罪をなすりつけることができるか。これから行う捜査はそのためのものだ。全員を調べ回ってる時間もない。ある程度当たりをつけておいた方がいいだろう。例えば、被害者と唯一面識があるらしいマヤ・カークランドとかな。
Maya. The records indicate Nahum Cox asked Maya to enter a relationship with him. This thing effect is likely important enough to sway the proceedings. I don't want to see Maya upset. That's a worse fate than even my own death.
あとはルーシェン・ノイシュバーンだな。
His Royal Highness, why?
お前もあいつの変化には気づいてるだろう。元の世界線と全く別人じゃねえか。行政官だったからよく知ってる。人は良かったが、気弱な日和見主義で王子のくせに存在感ゼロ。継承権こそあったが、誰も期待してる奴なんかいなかった。それが今はどうだ。優秀だ天才だって誰もが称賛してる。次の王はあいつだって声も多い。お前、ルーシェンに何かしたか？
Not at all. I've spoken to him a number of times, but that was all recently, after he'd already changed.
もちろん俺も関わっちゃいない。つまり異種の仕業ってことだ。ルーシェン・ノイシュバーンは異種の手先。なくはない話だと思わねえか。
Investigation. Let's start with her. Actually, I should maybe save one time. Not that, like, my game breaks again. Maya, are you okay?
ええ、まさかこんなことになるなんて。この方は先日いらっしゃった方ですよね。
Yes, he's a friend of Vice Commander Scribes. He's helping me out with all of this.
そうですか。
マヤ・カークランド、いくつか確認したいことがある。昨夜はどこにいた？
自室にいました。あの黒い空を見た後でしたからなかなか寝つけなかったのですが、いつの間にか寝ていて朝まで起きませんでした。
For safety, you need to save the file. Yeah, I did. Oh, good, Sana. No. Which means the witch sleeping magic was at work this time too.
捜査資料や新聞の記事を見ると、被害者と面識があるそうだな。これは事実か？
ええ。
Was he really following you around? I've never heard anything about that.
心配をかけてしまうと思って申し訳ございません。
You don't have to apologize.
アナスタシア、お前は知らなかったんだな。
No, I didn't.
付きまとわれたって具体的には何をされたんだ？
待ち伏せされたり後をつけられたりです。あとは物を渡されることもありました。
What kind of things?
アクセサリーやぬいぐるみといった類です。返却しようとしたのですが受け取ってもらえなくて仕方ないので破棄していました。きっと私は疑われてしまうのでしょうね。私だけですもの、被害者と面識があるのは。ですが私は彼を殺していないのです。疎ましく思ったことはありますが彼はすでに牢獄にいた。わざわざ殺す理由がありません。お嬢様、どうか信じてください。私はメンブルムではありません。
I know, Maya. I believe you.
アナスタシア、時間がない。次に行くぞ。マヤ・カークランドが一番罪を着せやすいな。被害者と面識があるのはあの女だけだ。何より動機がある。俺がサクリファイスだった時のメンブルムは確かあの女だったな。
You remember right. She murdered the Lindsay family, saying it was for my sake.
そこまで忠義に熱いのならお前が頼めば罪をかぶってくれるんじゃないか。
I could never. This is no time for pretty words. Have I forgotten what it is I'm trying to do here?
殺されたのはあいつだって言うじゃねえか。マヤちゃんにしつこく言い寄ってたさ。
強盗殺人で捕まったって話聞いたときはマヤちゃんも安心しただろうなって思ったんだがな。
マヤちゃんがメンブルムなのかな。あいつ気持ち悪いくらいしつこかったし。
散々嫌な思いをさせられたからその腹いせにってか。
Hmm, that's not good for her, actually. I know Zen suspects Prince Lucian of being the witch's underling, but is he really? He's far too noble.
顔こわばってるぞ。
I'm only stiff because you say Prince Lucian could be the witch's underling, but to me, he's like a guardian angel. He's helped me so many times.
だったらお前は信じてやればいい。疑うのは俺の仕事だ。
Zen.
ご歓談中、失礼いたします。アナスタシア殿。
Prince Lucian.
久方ぶりですね。最後にお会いしたのはいつだったか。私のことは覚えてくださっていますか？
I could never.
嬉しいです。こんな状況でなければもっと喜べたのですが。隣のものは
This is Zen Sorfield. He's aiding me in my investigation.
そうですか。私も先ほどまで異端審問官と話をしていました。収穫はあまりありませんでした。あなたの方はいかがですか、アナスタシア殿。
What do you mean exactly? How did he change, Hannah? From what? You mean Lucian? Unfortunately, I can't report anything with much confidence either.
なんとか今夜のうちに犯人を突き止めたいですね。でなければ新たな被害者が出てしまう。
You mean from his character? Like how he's talking and stuff? That he's not like whiny anymore? You mean this? Or you mean his appearance? Actually, in every timeline, he's like a bit different. So, in this timeline, he's more grown up, I think. So he's not always the same person. Because I think in the first one he was like more whiny, and in this one he's like more strong. Did you participate in Prince Conrad's party?
招待は受けましたが、教会の通達通り、一人で自室にこもっていました。
He actually sounds in this so much like Marius from Hagen, which is a bit funny.
それでなくとも、兄の茶番に付き合う気は起きません。
Wow, was he always so cold?
被害者と面識があるのはマヤ・カークランドという女性だけだそうですね。
Yes, that's right.
何か気づいたことでも？
魔女はなぜ私たちをサクリファイスに選んだのだ。なんとなく作為的なものを感じるのです。うまく言葉にはできないのですが。他に何か聞きたいことはありますか？私に分かることでしたら何でもお答えします。
では俺からも一つよろしいですか？
ああ、構わない。
殿下は幼少期は病気がちだったそうですね。それなのに今は立派に成長されている。何かきっかけのようなものはあるのですか？
なぜそんなことを聞く？
殿下の人柄を知っておくことも必要だと思いまして。
ルーシェン殿下、そろそろお時間です。ああ、申し訳ありません。これから人と会う約束がありまして。
Thank you for making this time for us without a prior appointment.
今宵の裁判、共に頑張りましょう。私は必ずあなたの助けになります。
Again. He's always like this. He's always trying to help me, no matter what else may be happening. He did this when I was Inquisitor, when I was named as a sacrifice and even when I was still shabby and useless. Since I'm turning back time, it only makes sense that people repeat themselves. To those people, these things have only happened once, and yet, why do you concern yourself with me? I could very well be the man Brom, yet you don't seem to doubt me at all.
私の力が必要な時は言ってください。私だけはあなたの味方です。
ずいぶん懐かれてるな。変化の理由はお前に聞いてもらった方が良かったかもな。そうすりゃ露骨に無視はされなかっただろう。
I do think part of the fault lies with how straightforward you were.
けど、そのおかげで分かっただろ。あの男には何か裏があるって。
That might be interesting now. I skim over the article of Conrad's new lover and a single thought comes to mind. Who cares?
元婚約者なのにか。そうにゃんだ。冗談だ。あの時は随分ひどい目に遭わされたもんな。
Getting my revenge on Conrad is one of my main goals.
だったらネイハム・コックスじゃなく奴を殺せばよかった。死に戻りするとはいえ多少はスッキリするんじゃない。
No, I refuse to use magic for that purpose. I get my revenge with my own power.
それも立派なことで。ひとまず事情聴取しに行くか。
The nobles around us revel in food and drink, their bodies swaying to the music, as if to proudly claim the witch's evil has no purchase here. Conrad had a party this time too, did he? He found himself at a disadvantage at the last try because he acted so competentiously. Given he's about to repeat that same mistake, it's probably safe to assume he hasn't retained his memories.
お前たちか。俺に聞きたいことがあるというのは。その首輪はお前のサクリファイスか。
How he is smiling about this guy. Thank you for sparing some time for us, Your Royal Highness. I'm Anastasia Linzel.
リンゼル？公爵家のものか。
The very one. Brad Linzel is my father.
そういえば、リンゼル公爵には前妻との間に娘がいたんだったな。幼いうち血のつながりはないとはいえ、君は叔母上の娘。つまり、俺のいとこということになるな。今回のことはお互い不運だが、助け合って乗り越えていこ
う。Yes, of course.
隣の男は従者か？体格がいいが、騎士には見えないな。
He's aiding me with this investigation. I hope you don't mind his presence. What is happening? Conrad leans in with a bright smile as his arms snakes around my waist. Let's go!
俺は君と二人きりで話したいな。サクリファイスなどになって不安だろう。表情がとてもこわばっている。俺なら君を慰めてやれるよ。
I'm not terrified, I assure you.
たくましいな。だったら俺を支えてくれないか。サクリファイスに弟のルーシェンを選ばれたことを知っているだろう。ルーシェンの支援者が俺を陥れようとするかもしれない。今は一人でも多くの味方が欲しいんだ。
You mean Conrad is always creepy, right? Not even sus, he's such a yandere character. Let me go.
我がいとこ殿は恥ずかしがり屋なんだな。一目見た時から男慣れしていなさそうだと思ったんだ。こんなに短く髪を切ってドレスもまとわず。
But that is kind of hot, not gonna lie. His finger slides down my cheek. The sheer disgust I feel at the motion revives memories of those faraway days when I was ensnared in his trap.
やめてもらえますか。人の女に気安く触るのは。
Zenn wraps an arm around my shoulders and pulls me away from Conrad with such force I feel like I could fall.
人の女？
ええ。こいつは俺の女です。
Interesting. Let's go.
そうか。それは悪かった。どうか許してくれ、アナスタシア。
アナスタシア、事件について話聞くんだろ
う。Right. Thank you. May I ask what you were doing last night, sir?
パーティーだよ。皆が黒い空に怯えていたのでね。女神の血を引く俺が守ってやらねばならないだろう。
You said the same thing last time. Your blood was nothing, you imposter. Your way to go then. Yeah.
被害者の男とは全く面識はないよ。入場記録を見てみるといい。被害者はこの城に一度も訪れていないことがわかる。パーティーの参加者たちが俺の無実を証明してくれる。俺がメンブルムというのは絶対にありえないよ。
The sleeping magic makes it impossible to actually prove his innocence, but I don't... Thank you for the raid, neighbor. And welcome. Red raid. Wait. What do you streamed, guys? And hello, Tagiru. This is not a party of Ron. Party of Ron. What do you mean that is not a party of Ron? Now I'm scared. Oh my god. But what did you guys was watching? Wait, I think I don't have a mod there, so let's go and see. Make this shout out actually. $1K? What? Don't scare me.
Fucking hell!
Holy shit, dude, what
Da geht er!
is this? Oh my god. Why is this a
Can I go
horror game that
home?
is popping up?
Can I go home?
Don't scream, no, I can't
Why
watch.
is
I
there a
can't watch
hand?
this clip even. I hate horror.
In the
I hate
trash can.
this. Oh my god, I hate these jump scares, guys. I can't watch there. Oh my god. It's gone. Oh. Hello, my stream died, so I couldn't join immediately. Oh, no problem, no problem. What did you stream? A horror game? Like the clip that we saw from you? That ghost scream was too scary. Yeah, it was really scary.
話はこのくらいでいいかな。そろそろパーティーに戻らないと。
But thank you for the raid, Neighbor. I think I pronounced your name wrong, by the way, but... yeah. I'm sorry. Oh, I don't know this game, I think. That's normal. Okay, okay. And that scream was not from the game. The name is a tongue destroyer. Yeah, exactly. It is a tongue destroyer. No, never, no, never, maybe never. I don't know. Yeah, but thank you for the raid. Let me actually follow you. Thank you also for the follow. I was quicker. Yeah, maybe. So I streaming at the moment Otome game, which has also a bit horror moments, but not so much. Yeah. So it's like, it's a visual novel where you can also get attached to boys, to husbandos, but at the moment it's like more mystery, fantasy, horror elements. It has actually all. Oh. But I also stream Genshin Impact, New Carnival sometimes, and I also streamed the Honkai Star Rail beta. Yeah. You in particular did me dirty, but that stream was all jump scares. Touch for girls means the boys make the girls horny. Exactly. Okay. Let's keep going, and welcome back, Daniel. That's why I bonk her. Oh, yeah. It's fine, it's fine. Of course, thank you again for your time.
コンラッド殿下は操作しなくていいんですか?
Wait. How did you get the bonk Ayato emote? Did you bought it with points? LOL. Wow. I didn't expect that you have so much points in my stream, Daniel. Oh, there is it again. There is it again. His yandere face. Look at him, Anna. Look at his face.
まだ皆が不安に思っている。彼らのためにも、俺はここにいないといけないんだよ。
俺たちも行くか。
Thank you for helping me out earlier.
いや、
Well, I don't have any bonk emotes, so I had to buy it. You don't have, doesn't have, Sakurama also bonk emotes?
悪かったな。裁判前に悪印象をつけるのはまずいと思って、ああいう言い方するしかなかったんだ。
And which visual novel you played, Neither? Probably like Doki Doki Literature Club or something, right? Because that's a Gal game and also visual novel. Oh, about me belonging to you. It's fine. It didn't bother me at all. He didn't have to apologize for that. He's far more true in his consideration than I expected.
コンラッド様、大丈夫でしたか？今のサクリファイスでしたよね。
ああ、今夜の裁判のために捜査をしているそうだ。
まさかコンラッド様を疑って、けしからんやつらだ。
気にするな。それよりもちゃんと進んでいるんだろうな。
Oh yeah, talking about bonk emotes, I have my notification sound as a bonk. Sayonara ho ashi. Oh. It's with girls then, right?
もちろんです。ルーシェン殿下がメンブルムであるという噂は民衆たちの間に広まりつつあります。
Yeah, and it's psychological horror. Oh my god.
きっと殿下に票が集まるでしょう。
That wouldn't be a good game for me.
そうか。誰が陪審員に選ばれるのかわからないんだ。隅々まで手を抜かないようにな。
かしこまりました。
This guy.
捜査などやったところで何になる。これは民衆裁判。人心をつかんだ者が生き残るんだ。
Ah, this guy is just unbelievable. I think we can go to the witch trial now. Yep. Time has flown by. With it being 11 p.m., there's no much else we can do. On this night of chaos, a Finnish moon hangs from the sky. The trial will be starting soon. I should review the information I've obtained. Nope. You know this?
もうすぐカーニバルだ。見事メンブルムを的中させたやつには掛け金に応じた賞金を出すぜ。うちで独自に集計した途中経過を発表するよ。賭けの
Oh my god. Maya has 100% votes. Will she
そ
die
ろそろ
again?
決めたか。誰に罪を着せるか。 お前はなれないんだな。どうせ死に戻りするんだから、何をしてもいいと割り切れないのか。
There have been times where I came to that conclusion, yes. When Maya died and I became a sacrificer, I used my fatal rewind in the hopes of saving her over and over and over again. As I did, it became easier. Death wasn't so scary anymore. My life was disposable, but my goal only go further and further away. If I compromise my values for the simple reason that I can't turn back time, I one day lose my way. I need to properly understand that I have only one life. I'm not sure how meaningful it actually is, considering my actions haven't exactly changed much.
いや、お前が正しいよ。そうだな。そういや昔、監督にも言われたな。練習試合だからって手を抜いてちゃ、いつまで経っても勝てないって。
Practice games? I thought you said you didn't do any martial arts.
ああ、いや、まあ、気にするな。
You're awfully secretive. I don't mean to pry into his past, but I'm sad.
Huh?
Oh no, it's nothing. I immediately tried to brush away the feelings I let slip, but Zenn looks down at me with a knowing gaze. Zenn takes out a portable ashtray and puts his finished cigarette inside. Once that's done, he slowly tells his tale.
俺、スポーツ選手だったんだよ。この世界にもあるだろう。あんま盛んじゃないみてえだが。
The nobility enjoys them a bit here, but an athlete?
体を動かすって言ったら剣術とかだもんな。俺が扱うのはボール、丸い球だ。
A ball? So, he was probably a football player in the human world, maybe? You fought with a ball?
そうそう。こう、ドリブルして、シュートする。
Zen first shakes one hand up and down. A dribble, I assume, and then lifts both hands up and moves his wrists in an easy motion. Is this shooting? Interesting. I wonder if I can do that too.
勝つには才能と恵まれた体格と知力とたゆまぬ努力が必要だな。
You lived in a relentless world.
そうだな。けど、何より大事なのは楽しむことだ。コートの上で一番楽しんだやつが勝ちさ。
Do you want to go back?
チームメイトと約束してたんだ。次こそ優勝だって。果たせないままこっちに来ちまった。
When I heard of Zen's secret from Master Tyrell, I didn't give his situation much thought. I was simply jealous. A body that cannot die is a powerful tool. But I was wrong. He was dragged to a world where the language he knew didn't matter. To be robbed of death meant being trapped in unending solitude.
おい、待て。まさか泣いてないよな。クソみたいな目にあってても泣き言一つ吐かなかったくせに、なんでこのタイミングで泣くんだよ。
I didn't mean to. It just happened.
まあ、人のことだと泣けるってことはあるよな。
Who put him through so much misery? He had friends, family, maybe even someone he loved. Yet he was pulled away from them and dropped in an unknown world, forced to live alone for an eternity. I get you back home. If it's the last thing I do.
そう気負うなって言いたいとこだが、勝たなきゃ何にもならないんだよな。もっと早く味方になってやりゃよかった。ずっと一人きりで戦わせてごめんな。ああ、またボロボロと。まあいいか。今のうちに目いっぱい泣いとけ。
As Zenn's finger carefully brushes my tears away, I get a whiff of tobacco. It's not so uncommon, but I always thought it was far more pungent a smell. But the sense wafting of him is milder to that of a smoking apple tree. It's gentle and nostalgic, like a perfume.
医師曰く、俺の存在は誤植なんだそうだ。美しい想定の本を汚す過ち。だから作者のルールが通用しないんだと。
I don't get it.
そうか。俺にはしっくりきたんだがな。
How could you call someone's life a mistake? Sure, you may not be here of your own volition. But Vice Commander Cryus, Master Terrell, and I are all glad to have met you.
たとえこの世界にとって俺は誤植とか異物だったとしても、それでもありがとな。俺のために泣いてくれて。
I can't lose. I must live through this. I hate being here. I can never get used to this. Oh my god.
お嬢様。
ここは一体。
魔女の作り出した裁判所だ。
そうか。確かに見ようによってはそれらしいところもあるな。
Ha! Yeah. Yeah, neighbor, you're right about this. That's... yeah.
とうとうこの時が来てしまったか。ルーシェ、メンブルムを捕らえるために協力し合おうな。
私は異端審問官のティレル・アイ・リスター。この魔女の魔女による魔女のための魔女裁判を取り仕切る者だ。ここは魔女の作り出した空間。魔女の意にそぐわなければ命はないだろう。心しておくように。
カーニバルを取り仕切るだって？驚いたな。異端審問官が魔女の茶番に協力するとは。君たち
そう思われても仕方ないでしょうね。けど異端審問官が裁判の進行役を押し付けられるのはこれが初めてじゃないんですよ。私の望みはここにいる皆さんと同じです。メンブルムを捕らえ処刑すること。そのために私は議論が滞りなく進むようご助力いたします。聞け300人の陪審員よ。これよりサクリファイスたちが議論を行う。
Let's go.
その様子を見て最も怪しいと思う者に投票してくれ。真実を見極めるのはお前たちの目だ。それでは議論開始。
議論ね。さて、
まずはそうですね。異端審問官からサクリファイスの名前や職業を聞いてはいるが、念のため自己紹介くらいしておきましょうか。
名乗るだけでは時間の無駄でしょう。現時点で誰を疑わしく思っているかも言うべきです。
We need to go actually look that. It's so fucked up because we are the membrum now. So the best would be if Conrad dies.
まだ何の話もしていないのに。
おのおのそれなりに捜査をしている時だったら所感を明らかにしておけばより議論がはかどるはずです。
Wait, are you talking about the guys? Neighbor? Yeah, they are pretty. That's actually true. Who you like the most from the look? From those three? What's gotten into him?
提案するからには先陣を切ってくれるんだろうな、ルーシェン。
The middle one. Interesting. Okay. You like blonde guys then?
ええ、もちろんです。私はヒストリカ国第三王子ルーシェン・ノイシュバン。現時点で私が疑っているのはマヤ・カークランド。
Oh my god.
理由はまだいいでしょう。次。
俺はクライオス・キャソロック、ガルダ翼騎士団の副団長を務めている。俺はそうだな、あくまで直感だがアナスタシア・リンゼルを疑っている。
Whoa, Cryos, what? Ha!
私はコンラッド・ノイシュバーン、ヒストリカ国第一王子だ。疑わしい人物は我が弟ルーシェンだ。
Well, that was so clear that he says Lucian.
マヤ・カークランドと申します。そちらにいらっしゃるアナスタシア・リンゼル様に仕えるメイドでございます。まだ何もわかりません。誰もメンブルムだとは思えません。
I'm Anastasia Lindsay. I serve the wings of Garuda as a cadet. At the moment, I'm most suspicious of... Fuck you, dude.
これで意見は出揃いましたね。では一人ずつ改めていくとしましょう。まずはマヤ・カークランド、君からだ。
I mean, he's suspicious us. Then for sure I go for him, Hannah.
「捜査資料だけでも彼女が怪しいと思いませんか？被害者と面識があるのは彼女一人ですよ。しかも彼女は被害者からストーカー行為を受けていた。恨みを抱いている。ありがとうございます。真実にまた一歩近づきました。
What do you mean I forgot Conrad? Fuck, yeah I did. But he didn't suspicious us actually. It was only Cryos.
ルーシェン殿下のおっしゃることはわかります。ですが、被害者はすでに牢屋に入っていたんですよ。わざわざ
メンブルムにまともな思考ができるとは思わない。たった一晩で善良な市民が殺人者に変わるんだ。
And yeah, it's a bit like this, Naiva. I didn't play Danganronpa, but it's a bit like this.
これが無差別殺人なら、わざわざ牢屋に出向くことはない。憎いから殺した。 動機としてはそれで十分では。
No, I actually think that Conrad should really need a root man. I would destroy him if I had a root with him. I mean, if I had the root with him, right? Me, as Ghost Fox. I would destroy this guy by different... I would make different things with him.
やけに断定的な物言いをするな。あまりことを急ぐとかえってお前の方が怪しく見えるぞ、ルーシェン。
確かに私はネイハムコックスを疎ましく思っていました。ですが殺すほどではありません。私はメンブルムではありません。
何も理由なく弟を疑っているわけじゃない。俺はあくまで民意を代弁しているんだよ。どうやら民衆の中でルーシェンがメンブルムなのではないかという噂が流れているらしいんだ。
How he can smile like this all the time?
私がルーシェン、お前は刑法をより厳罰化すべきと主張しているな。ネイハムコックスは強盗殺人の罪で捕まったが、現在の法では極刑にはならない。それが許せなかったんじゃないか。
あなたが味方になってくれるととても心強いです。
He's blushing. Let's go.
ルーシェン、我が弟ながら尊敬しているよ。メンブルムになっても正義感を持ち続けているのだから。
あなたが味方になってくれるととても心強いです。確かに私は厳罰化を求めていますが、現行法を軽んじるつもりはありません。私はメンブルムではない。
俺を疑う者はいないんじゃないか。なんと言ってもアリバイがあるからな。
Was he has an...
アリバイ？教会からは一人でいるようにと通達があったのではないのですか？
魔女に怯える者たちを放っておけなくてな。この状況であえてパーティーを開いたんだ。
いや、
強胆ですね。参加者の中にメンブルムが紛れる可能性を考えなかったのですか？
もちろん平時より警備を厳重にした。おかげで一人も犠牲者は出ていない。
昨夜、私は夜通し起きているつもりでいました。しかし強烈な睡魔に襲われてしまう。過去の記録によると、魔女はメンブルムの犯行を隠すため国中に眠りの魔法をかけるためです。なぜ兄上や参加者たちは無事でいられたのでしょ
う。女神の末裔である俺がいたからに決まっているだろう。高貴な血筋の者には魔女の魔法など通用しないということだ。
His face, man.
ルーシェン、お前は私の弟だが残念だな。どうやらお前には女神の加護はないらしい。
I would eat this guy. Not even kidding.
では次は。
殿下、俺に話させてください。アナスタシア、悪いな。
Wow.
マヤ殿、あなたの今朝の行動を教えてください。
私のですか？今朝はいつもより遅く起きて首輪に気づきました。しばらく放心していましたが、身支度を整えて異端審問会へ向かいました。
そうですね。ではアナスタシアはどんな様子でした？ティレル、サクリファイスが異端審問会に出頭した順番を教えてくれ。
Master Tyr quietly answers the Vice Commander's request.
アナスタシア・リンゼル、ルーシェン・ノイシュバーン、クライオス・キャソロック、マヤ・カークランド、コンラッド・ノイシュバーン。リンゼルはかなりお早い到着だったらしい。
あなたが目覚めた時にはすでに彼女はいなかったんですね。
寝坊した私が悪いのです。第一、こんな異常事態ですよ。別行動を取ったっておかしくないでしょう。
今の彼女の様子を見て不審に思うことはありませんか？
いいえ、全く普段通りのお嬢様です。キャソロック殿、私から見ればあなたの方が不審です。あなたはいつもお嬢様の味方だったではありませんか。なのに急に妙な言いがかりをつけてきて、これ以上お嬢様を貶めるようなことを言ったら許しません。
それがあなたのやり方なんですね。正しいとは思えないが理解はできます。ここにいる者たち皆、今朝の行動を振り返ってほしい。朝起きて何をした？まずは安堵しただろう。メンブルムに殺されずによかったと。そして次は家族の安否を確認した。ここまでは誰もが同じだろう。俺のよく知るアナスタシア・リンゼルもそのはずだ。彼女はマヤ殿を実の家族のように信頼していたし、マヤ殿も同じ気持ちだった。お互いが大切に思い合っている姿を俺は8年間近くで見てきた。アナスタシア、なぜ目覚めてすぐマヤ殿の安否を確認しなかった？
あまりにも船舶な主張だな。二人を家族というなら部外者であるあなたが語る言葉はない。
Oh, I like his expression in this actually. When he has this face, he looks like very strong.
家族同然のマヤ殿が疑われているとき、なぜ強く抗議しなかった？お前がマヤ殿を守らない。俺にとっては何よりの異常だ。
クライオス・キャソル、あなたの発言は全て主観、推測に過ぎない。
キャソロック殿、あなたには失望しました。お嬢様と近しい立場にいながら追い詰めるような真似をするなんて。申し上げましたよね。これ以上お嬢様を貶めたら許さないと。
I have the feeling
レイハム・コックスがよく言っていました。ガルダ翼騎士団は不要だと。彼は翼騎士団を解体するために意見書を出していたそうです。
I have actually the feeling this timeline will not end well for Cryos.
勉強はおできになる方でしたから、 それなりの効力があったようですね。意見書が提出されるたびに団長副団長は奔走する羽目になったとか。お嬢様のような一般騎士を不安にさせまいと秘密裏に処理していたようで、上司としては素晴らしいですね。その分ご苦労は絶えなかったでしょう。ネーハムコックスを疎ましく思う気持ちは私と同じですね、クライオス副団長。ありがとうございます、お嬢様。
If I will start the game first, join my yeah. I mean, I'm not done yet, right? Like, I will go like in 22 minutes, I think. Then I will stop. And then I go out with my dog, and then I will join your stream. And you people can join also, like Hannah's stream then, if you want to. When she starts, then I think she will start like in 1 hour.
面識はあったのでしょう。異端審問官の聴取に嘘をつきましたね。
いや、彼と直接対面したことがあるのは団長だけだ。
でも名前は知っていましたよね。
そうだな。
この事実を隠していた。お嬢様よりずっとあなたの方が怪しいです。ありがとうございます。
Hello, Pantabe. What do you mean in a few minutes? Didn't you say in 1 hour? I'm confused now.
そろそろ投票に入る。その前にリンゼル。
Yes, of
お前
course.
ほとんど黙り込んでるな。何でもいいから発言しろ。
It's now or never. I have to decide who to frame. Do we have Supermoon tonight? Looks very big. Yeah, it is. It is. Ah, okay. I mean, I will stream like 20 minutes more and then I will go out and then, yeah. I mean, you can already start, no problem. And yeah, it is Supermoon today. Big moon. Do I want to live so badly? I'd frame Maya. Do I want to win so badly? I forfeit her life. Is this world so precious a thing? Of course it is. This world is home to the people I love. I must do whatever I can to live through this. Oh, yeah, enjoy your food, neighbor. So, what if I live? Do I really think I can actually save this world? All I've done is let everyone else die. Not once have I successfully protected someone I love. And now I claim I can save the world? Ah. I may be able to live by sacrificing Maya, but then what? Maya smiles, her eyes full of motherly affection. When faced with that loving gaze, the darkness swirling within me is instantly purified. I indict Maya Kirkland.
じゃあ全員の証言が出揃ったところで採決に。
いいえ、まだ足りませんわ。お嬢様がなぜ私をお疑いになるのか、ご説明いただかなくては。
So we had also discussed the Vice Commander's hatred for Cox's opinions on the Wings. We all know Cox was in goal the night of the crime. Given Cox is not the only radical to call for the Wings' desolation, the Vice Commander has no reason to aim for him specifically. Not so with Maya, whose suffering came at the hands of Cox alone, plus he was arrested for an entirely different crime. Is it so odd to think she want to deliver punishment herself?
お嬢様、よくできました。
民衆投票を始める。300人の陪審員よ、正しき判断を。
あなたは間違ってる。大切なものは大切にするだけでは守れないんですよ。
Also, I just won the fast food lottery. Nice, good job.
あら、それはあなたの考えでしょ。何が正しいか悪いかは私が決めます。ですから、お嬢様、あなた様もどうかご自分を信じて貫き通してください。
おい。何してやがる。
I lower my gaze to a knife that has just dropped to the floor. A thin line of blood stains my neck. Oh, I wasn't trying to die, so bye. I'm a fool. Death doesn't mean escape, not now. I just have to go through this all over again.
止まるな。一歩ずつでいい。ゆっくりでいい。進み続けているうちは、お前は負けない。俺が保証する。お前は大丈夫だ。
Tell me again. Tell me I'm be fine.
大丈夫だ。
One more time.
お前は大丈夫だ。アナスタシア。
How long has it been since I cried for my own sake?
サクリファイスはお前を含めてあと4人。順当にいけば、裁判はあと3回続くことになる。今日みたいなこと3回もやってられるか。次で終わらせるぞ。
How?
今夜、サクリファイスを殺すんだ。そうすれば、次の裁判の参加者は3人になる。裁判で1人処刑になり、その世残ったサクリファイスを殺せば終わる。
But then, who will we kill?
お前にとって一番負担が軽いのはコンラッドだろうが、今殺すべきなのはクライオスだ。クライオスはお前がメンブルムだと見抜いている。明日の裁判でも必ず敵に回る。今日見ていて思った。お前はクライオスには勝てない。
もう少し自分のことを信じてやれ。人は誰といても、真の意味では孤独なのだから。だったら言っておこう。お前は誰よりも美しい。嘲笑う者など一人もいない。愛してるよ。
Oh gosh. I have to kill him. I have to, with my own two hands.
今夜だけでサクリファイスを全員殺せるなら肩がつくが、そこまでやれる時間があるか微妙なとこだな。もうすぐ2時になる。アナスタシア、覚悟を決めろ。
Just as he finished speaking, I hear something. Conrad.
くそ、聞かれたか。
Okay, let's go.
お前ら、一体何を。
Zenn immediately slips around behind Conrad and raises his sturdy arms high. Zenn looks down at the now fallen Conrad with mixed emotions. In that bephased of moments, as he lets his guard down, yet another man appears to take advantage of him. I kick the newcomer in the abdomen right as his aims splayed at Zenn.
護衛がいたのか。そりゃそうか。助かった。さすが本職だな。
I recognized this guardsman. Earring was his name, I believe. He was in the wings until just a few years ago. To think we would meet again here, and like this. Is Conrad alive?
ああ、気を失っているだけだ。まだ1時半。眠りの魔法がない時間帯だったか。こんな状況下じゃ誰もうろつかねえだろうと思ったのが甘かったな。さっきの話を聞かれた以上、こいつらも殺すしかねえな。
What about Vice Commander Cryers? Are we to kill him tonight too?
考えたんだが、カーニバルのルール覚えてるか？俺は今夜サクリファイスを皆殺しにできるのが一番だと思ってた。そうすりゃ裁判なんか開くことなく、お前の勝ちが確定するからな。けどそれはルールの8項目目、勝敗は議場のみ決するものとするに反することになる。
Oh, I see what you mean.
皆殺しはやっぱりなしだ。一人は残さねえと。アナスタシア、コンラッドはお前が殺せ。この騎士とクライオスは俺がやる。
I sure. I hate to make you do something so awful.
お前に殺させるよりはマシだ。剣、貸せ。
Zenn sticks a blade through the back of the collapsed knight.
コンラッドは2時になってから殺せ。でなきゃメンブルムの紋章が刻まれない。
He used me, toyed with me. My hatred has no faded through the repeated lifetimes. No death was more frightened than wasting away in the fire. Killing him should have been my greatest desire. So why do I feel so empty? Conrad's life is taken and the remembering crest appears on the floors. Afterward, we make our way to the Vice Commander.
家にいないと思ったらここか。 よっぽど仕事熱心なんだな。しかも、こいつらが同じ部屋で寝るような仲だったとは、初めて知ったな。
Master Till is also the Vice Commander's room. He sleeps on the sofa while the Vice Commander lies sprawled across his desk.
何のつもりか知らねえが、無策なわけじゃなさそうだな。余計なものには触らないように気をつけろよ。
Vice Commander Cyrus holds an investigation report in his hands. They had apparently been reviewing the case right up until they fell asleep. He looks so peaceful, like he's in the middle of a gentle dream. His guard is fully down, making him look much younger. Zenn stands at the edge of the sofa. He grips a blade that had previously stolen the lives of Boss Conrad and his guard. Really für Tom. Zenn, I'm sorry.
バカ。俺はお前のためにここにいる。代わりにやれることは何でもやるよ。
I do everything I can to give everyone's happy ending. I won't make you do anything like this again. I will erase it all and give everyone a fresh start.
お前。
あれれ二人して何やろうとしてるのかな。
Uh-oh.
何しに来やがった、イシュ。
もちろん悪者退治だよ。人の寝込みを襲うなんて卑劣極まりないね。
You give me no other choice, remember?
あ、そうだった。でもさ、これはないんじゃない？一晩でサクリファイスを二人も手にかけようとするなんて。明日の裁判がつまんなくなるじゃないか。
ルールは違反してねえぞ。ルーシェンは残しておくからな。ルールを8つしか用意しなかったお前のミスだな。
だって8が良かったんだもん。タロットカードで8は力、くさび数の正の約数は8、スピリチュアリズムでは支配と成熟、横に倒すとメビウスになる。正直もっとめちゃくちゃなルールを入れて僕が有利になるようにしたかったけど仕方ない。なあ、8、そんないけずなところも愛しいよ。
His voice. As much as I love to call him mad, I can't take the risk of throwing his mood.
相変わらず頭いかれてるな。
Never mind.
とにかくもうサクリファイスは殺しちゃダメだよ。この男もし逆らうなら分かってるね。念のためプロテクトをかけておくことにするよ。誰にもサクリファイスは殺せないように首輪にその命を守らせよう。
Can you use new magic without any contract?
ただルールをちょこっと修正するだけだもん。そんな面倒なことしなくても大丈夫です。
If the rules need to be changed halfway through an ongoing game, that's on you. You should have to pay some suitable price. The witch is particularly picky about contracts and conditions, but now that's my role. The witch would normally get nothing out of this and dismiss it outright, but now...
このくらいのことじゃ大したことはしてあげられないよ。
Got him. Then just answer my question.
一つだけだよ。
Where's the Witch of Conception?
まだこの世界にはいない。
What?
でもずっと近くにいる。質問タイム終了。いやー、本当に今夜の裁判は楽しみだ。愛する人を殺すか殺されるか、究極の法廷バトルだね。今のところ君が不利みたいだけど。そんな君に一つアドバイスをしてあげよう。さっきサクリファイスは殺せないようにプロテクトをかけたと言ったけど、自殺だけは OK にしてあるから、敗北宣言はいつでも受け付けるよ。それじゃあバイバーイ。
Okay, guys, I will save here. And the next part will come next day then. Let's go to the title and end the stream with the opening song, which is nice. And I think I will rate Rico van Crow. He's playing War Tales. But let's listen to the song again before we stop.
It's that time to recall my trueness from the memories of darkness. Even if endless grief consumes the entire world, I can feel my bruising heart. The only thing deserves to believe. Step into the fire and see. Is that
Oh, you hate him? The Witch of Ruin? I love him. That's like the type I like on guys. I love him. Oh.
Sitting all by myself, my mind's running in circles, can't stop. I can see nothing but the richness, like a stream of hopeless reaper. Just stripped away all my fake, can't stand it anymore. Gotta get away. A ray of hope is rising up, baby, now. Something's gonna hold me back, but I will go on looking back, believing my faith. It's time to come to my weakness, wanna get many clueless. Even if the truth ain't missing, to consume my world. I can feel my beating heart, that's the one I can trust. Face the face, please, always ready to be out of order.
Yeah. I mean, we love all different types of characters, which I think is good. Okay. Let us rate Rico. Wow, and I get a bot at the end. Oh, what? Nice. Give this guy a follow and be nice to him. He is a nice guy. He's playing War Tales. I will be later in Hannah's stream. She will be playing Code Realize. Yeah. Thank you for watching and thank you for the raid, Naiva. And yeah. I hope we see you soon again. See ya, guys.